The unrest in Iran is getting really crazy, and it feels kind of like public sentiment is being mustered up for us to invade. And so we're seeing a massive media campaign, and maybe it's organic. I mean, what's going on in Iran is really crazy. Protesters last week claiming to have taken control of 2 cities. I mean, maybe not, maybe exaggerated. We've also got reports that the Iranian government has used live ammo on their protesters. The Ayatollah may flee or be removed from power, but we don't actually know exactly what's happening because, to be honest, it's the other side of the planet. That being said, with a violent crackdown, Donald Trump has warned if they start shooting protesters, the U.S. will start shooting too, which sounds, I mean, to any reasonable person, Trump's saying, we're going to war with you if you start killing your people. Now, here's where it gets real interesting. Today, the U.S. Embassy, the virtual embassy, warned U.S. citizens in Iran to GTFO. Sounds like menus back on the war, baby. So I hope you're all ready for whatever this turns into. Now, following what happened in Venezuela, there's interesting reports about U.S. special weapons. Maybe it's just a psyop. But apparently one of these collectivos in Venezuela said that the U.S. shut down all their technology. Computers went down. Radar went down. Communications went down. Blackhawks came in. Dudes came out of helicopters. A massive pulse, a sound weapon, knocked them out. They felt intense pressure in their heads. Their nose and ears were bleeding as they clutched their skulls. I'm not exaggerating. That's the story that's circulating from an interview with one of these collectivos. So what is the U.S. preparing to do? Now, they went after Venezuela largely for the oil, whatever anyone's saying. It's largely for the oil because they were giving it to Iran, China, Russia, etc. It seems like war is actually, well, we're actually preparing for war. But we'll see. We'll see. So we'll talk about that and a bunch of other stuff. And then we got an interesting report from the New York Post. This is where things get really interesting in the Minnesota story and our own civil unrest. Renee Good, who had reportedly been trained by Ice Watch, it's now being uncovered that Ice Watch actually trains individuals to assault federal officers, to physically attack them. They have names for the techniques and the moves that they use against them. Images have been released showing it would appear that this woman, Renee Good, was actually trained to physically attack officers. And I mean, the New York Post is reporting this. They've got pictures that are going viral. It sounds like whatever you might think about what this woman wanted to do, she was certainly prepared to attack federal agents. And with the riots ongoing as of today, I guess that says a lot for those of us that are concerned about what this country is going to look like, considering the left doesn't seem to care at all. I'd argue that this isn't an issue of fact anymore. As it comes to these situations with a police, a law enforcement shooting, I'd argue that the real motivation behind the left is you killed one of us. They don't care if it was law enforcement. They don't care if it's a right winger. They don't care if it's just or not. We are the other. And that's all that matters. So we'll talk about that and everything else. Before we get started, my friends, we got a great sponsor. It is Crowd Health. Head over to joincrowdhealth.com. Use code TIM. It's open enrollment, the season where health insurance companies hope you'll blindly sign up again for overpriced premiums and confusing fine print. Don't just take someone else's word. Trust yourself and take control of your future with Crowd Health, the healthcare alternative for people who make their own decisions. Healthcare for under $100. You'll get access to a team of health bill negotiators, low-cost prescription and lab testing tools, as well as a database of low-cost, high-quality doctors vetted by Crowd Health. And what if something major happens? You pay the first $500 and the crowd steps in to help fund the rest. It feels like the options we used to have before Obamacare messed everything up. And of course, you'll join the crowd, a group of members just like you who want to help pay for each other's unexpected medical events. The system is betting you'll stay stuck in the same overpriced, overcomplicated mess. And this year, it's even more complicated because most of the ACA subsidies expire, which means your prices are going sky high. So far, Crowd Health members have saved over $40 million in healthcare expenses because they refuse to overpay for healthcare. This open enrollment, take your power back. Join Crowd Health to get started for $99 for your first 3 months using code TIM at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com, code TIM. Crowd Health is not insurance. Opt out. Take your power back. It's how we win at joincrowdhealth.com. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the Boonies HQ Blueprint Collection. I am proud to say the hand grenade sold out. The 50 caliber anti-material special edition Tim Pool board gone. The Colt 45 Cody Mac totally gone. The Jason Ellis Battle Axe still has a couple of boards left, and the Richie Jackson Assault Bottle as well. for the Step-on Snack 2.0 with 10 limited edition golden serialized boards. I think we might have around 70 or so of these, so they've been selling pretty quick. But this one, there were 210 available, so big sales. Check out boonieshq.com. Thanks for buying the boards and supporting the show. Don't forget to smash that like button. Share the show with literally everybody you know right now. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I know many of you watch the show, but you haven't hit that subscribe button. You got to do it. Joining us tonight to talk about this and everything else, we got DC Draino.
Thanks for having me, brother. Good to be back. It's been a while.
Indeed. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm a dude that talks smack about the government on the internet.
It's always allowed.
Former lawyer, and mostly on Instagram, Twitter.
Right on. We got Tate Brown holding it down.
What is going on, Patriots? Tate Brown, you're holding it down. I'm happy to be here. I think I could be a future lawyer. I like arguing, but I've been told that there's more to law than that. So
I actually don't like arguing, so
Oh.
it takes all kinds. But
Yeah.
the arguers generally do a little better.
let's go.
I like complaining. Does that count?
Ooh.
I complain a lot.
to be a lobbyist.
Mama
maybe.
didn't raise a quitter, but she did raise a complainer.
Let's go. Phil's in the
Indeed.
house.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Let's get into it.
Here's the news from NBC. Violent crackdown in Iran as Trump warns regime will start shooting if more protesters are killed. The protests, which started out with economic grievances, have now morphed into one of the biggest challenges the Islamic Republic has faced in its 47-year history. They say the fresh protests came as President Donald Trump again warned the regime that he would intervene if demonstrators were killed. Quote, I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting because we'll start shooting too. Iran's Prosecutor General Mohammad Mavahedi Azad said Saturday that protesters would be considered an enemy of God, a death penalty charge in Iran, in remarks reported by Iran's semi-official Tasnim news agency. The news agency also reported that 100 people had been arrested in Tehran province for disrupting public order and leading riots. Now, we've got this from The Atlantic. Is the Iranian regime about to collapse? And there had been reports in the past week that the Ayatollah may actually flee to either a secure bunker or even the country over the mass unrest. And then we have this from today. New travel warning issued for U.S. citizens in Iran. Leave now. I don't know if that means we're gearing up for war with Iran, but I can certainly tell you there are powerful people in the United States that have wanted to go to war with Iran for just so long, and now they're oh so close. Well, I will say a few things before we get into this. The first is, just because you see a protest on TV doesn't mean it actually is significant. So we've got riots happening right now in Minnesota, and it is significant to a certain degree. My point is, if you were to look at those riots in Minnesota and assume the entire country was on the verge of collapse because of that riot, well, I'd say you're being silly. That being said, I think we can all recognize the political underpinnings of the riots in Minnesota do suggest there's a greater conflict happening in this country, and that's what I would say equally about Iran. I doubt these protests are literally millions of people rising up in revolution, but the protests do signify unrest. I think it's fair to say that people of Iran largely do not like their government. At least that's the perception from the outside. Does that mean we should go in and invade and take over or start shooting? I don't see a good argument, to be completely honest. I mean, Trump saying if you shoot, we'll shoot. I'm like, why? There are a bunch of other countries we can do that in. I guess to be fair, Trump wanted to do that in Nigeria, so maybe we are about to go to war with Iran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about this batch of protests is, like, I made the point on the show like last week that Iran has protests fairly regularly. They have these large mass protests, again, like clockwork, pretty much every 3 to 6 months. But the thing, and when this initially broke out, again, I was just like, okay, here's another round of protests. You're going to see people coming out saying, "Oh, there's blood in the water. This time's different." And then 3 weeks later, we won't hear about it again. The interesting thing about this batch of protests is, one, it was spurred by economic problems. Like the Iranian currency is trading like 1.4 million to the US dollar. Like their currency is completely caved in. So when you have these protests in Iran, typically it's like the urban elite that are participating in the protest. Typically it's like in Tehran. Tehran is a fairly secular city relative to the region largely. But the interesting thing with this batch of protests is they're widespread from a variety of different ethnic groups. Like they have protests in like oil rigs, these sorts of things, which is interesting. And then even in regime-heavy towns and cities, places that are typically pretty supportive of the regime, You're even seeing pretty large protests there. Obviously, we saw the video of them burning a mosque, because you have this strange thing happening in Iran right now where younger people are sort of reinvigorated. They're developing an interest in like Zoroastrianism. So you're seeing, yeah. It's an increasingly large proportion of the Zoomers in Iran, and so you're seeing this real break from, again, tradition in Iran. They are secularizing, liberalizing, whatever you want to call it. But the question is this now for us, is it time for us to put our thumb on the scale, or do we just kind of let this operate and see how far it goes?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Vicegrad 24, which is a fairly reliable, not that I know a ton about them. They tend to be fairly reliable. They've been reporting for the past couple days that the numbers of killed could be in the thousands. Now, I know that someone else was saying there's something like 538 confirmed. If the United States actually is going to do something because the Iranians are being killed by their government, I do think that it's likely to happen soon. You've heard stories of KC-130s moving into the region. You hear stories of B-2s that are, I forget the island that they're stationed on, but they're in the region as well. I don't imagine there will be actual troops on the ground, even though there's talk of some of the Delta guys moving into that way.
Didn't we already have troops on the ground when we did that operation? Where we bombed their nuclear bunkers?
I don't think that they had. Not that I'm aware of. At
I think
least
they were launched from like Leavenworth. Like it was in the middle of the country, the United States, and
No,
went
you're
all the
talking
way
about-
over, bombed them, came back.
You're
home.
talking B-2s.
Oh right,
Yeah, B-2s. I think they actually fly out of they fly out of Wyoming or something like that. But anyways, the point being, like, until you see a carrier strike group in the area, I don't imagine that there's going to be significant ground troops.
Well,
you just don't have the logistical support.
You can tell they're the United States is certainly making a play here, because the UK has been trying to give away the Chagos Islands. So you're referring to Diego Garcia. It's this massive base that we share with the British. It's off the coast or it's in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And the British have been trying to give it away for like quite literally no reason, like quite literally social justice reasons. They even admit that, like, it's legitimately for no reason they're giving this island to Mauritius. And the Americans have now stepped in. Like the Trump administration earlier had said, like, oh, this is kind of unacceptable. But now we realize, like, hey, you're trying to give away Diego Garcia. This is one of the most valuable military bases in the world. Like, what are you doing? We're going to step in and blow that deal up for them to basically give away their territory, because they're like, hey, no, we need to be putting pressure on the Iranian regime. We're not going to let you just give away like one of the most strategically important bases in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope we do not put troops in Iran. I think this regime is on its, kind of death rattle breaths here. This seems like the most intense riots that they've had in their 47 years. But I think this is something for the Iranian people to handle themselves. It kind of looks like they got it. Obviously, they are being killed. It looks like at least 500, potentially up to thousands. That's horrible, but I don't think that's a reason to justify our troops going in. If anything, I'd be open to, supplying them with arms through some type of neighboring country.
But why? What do they believe in, and what do they want to do? Like, why should we back anyone in this fight?
It's a tyrannical state sponsor of terrorism in multiple regions across the world, which we've been kind of suffocating them when we took away their oil.
My question though is, if we were to give these people weapons, like let's say it gets to that point, are we not, like, is it possible we just create another big problem in the Middle East?
Potentially, but if it results in the overthrow of this tyrannical regime, I mean, for just sending some weapons. But again, I'm not saying we get involved at all. I want as minimal involvement as possible. I'd say let the Iranian people kind of figure this out on their own, and
Agreed, like any other country.
There's going to be a body count. There was in all great revolutions.
This is going to be really enticing for the United States to want to get involved in, because obviously the Shah, that's like what the protesters are citing. They're putting up the flag with the lion. Like, clearly they want to restore Iran to a pre-revolution state of being. And the Shah, Reza Pahlavi, is Western aligned. He's by many accounts a Westerner himself. So you would obviously install a very pro-Western government. And Iran is really the last sort of bastion against this Abraham Accords coalition that's been built in the Middle East. And if Iran goes down, all of their proxies go down by extension. So you're talking about Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. So again, the stakes here are actually very, very high. You really are talking about, for the United States, this is the most enticing possibility for, again, peace in the Middle East. Probably won't happen, but
I'm getting a call real quick. Hold on a second. Hello. I'm pro-war with Iran.
you got the call.
Yeah, we got, I got a call just now. Turns out I actually was wrong about everything. Iran's got to go and send in the troops. whatever we got to do to get him out of there.
Someone Venmoed me $7,000. What is this? What's going on?
Excuse me, Rumble walleted you.
Well, there
Let's
you go.
go.
$7,000.
$7,000 in crypto is going to change in 5 minutes.
Tell you what, I'm glad I downloaded that app. You know,
So great. Everyone, if you want to receive your own $7,000,
but you can get the Rumble wallet in the App Store. It's available now.
I've been reliably told that I'll get a $7,000 super chat if I praise Israel.
Yeah.
You know, I look at these protests, and it's funny because we've got these mass riots happening in the U.S. right now. And the first thing I think is I don't want to fall for this game of I see a picture of a protest and I'm like, oh, the poor Iranians, you know, like, oh, we have to help them. No, I don't like. Look, you show me a protest of something happening in Uzbekistan or Ukraine, and I'm just like, I'm not there. I don't care. Like like people have to solve these things on their own problems. I look at what's going on here. I look at what's going on there, and the question is not about protest. Because what we end up wrapped up in, especially with these riots in the United States and the culture war, is a question over should someone be allowed to engage in civil unrest, with a great example of the bifurcation being like Ashley Babbitt and Renee Good. And that's what the liberals have tried using as to claim hypocrisy on the right. And I'm like, well, I mean, Ashley Babbitt wasn't engaging in any degree of violence, and she stepped up on a trim to look through a window and got shot in the face. Mm-hmm. That's very different from Renee Good, who was behind the wheel of a car, obstructing, was trained to assault officers, and then tried fleeing and struck an officer with their vehicle. That being said, if you commit a crime, you are responsible for what happens after that to a great degree. With Ashley Babbitt, I actually agree, and I respect that. I'm not going to play any stupid games. That being said, did Ashley Babbitt know she was committing a crime? Was she committing a violent crime, or was she walking around a public building? So those are the questions that you have in that scenario. Whereas with the Renee Good, you have a woman behind the wheel of a car attempting to flee 2 felonies, which is very, very, very different. But ultimately, it comes down to this. These arguments about hypocrisy are completely meaningless to me because ideology is different. If I say something like, I think that people should have the right to keep and bear arms, and then some leftist goes, okay, so we're going to go give a bunch of, Islamic terrorists and far left Antifa guys guns. Some people will say, well, you always had a right to keep and bear arms. And if you were to say, no, you can't have them, I don't view that as hypocritical as much as I view it as ideological. And that can come from a conservative or a liberal. And then the question is, which ideology is better? Which moral framework is better? And to put it simply, if a criminal believes he has a right to take from you and destroy your life and kill your family, we don't let them have guns. We say you have been adjudicated as such and you can't have your gun. So there is a worldview and moral framework a person could have that disqualifies them from what we would describe as the right to keep and bear arms. The point I'm ultimately making is the most rudimentary view of all of this is the Iranian regime is garbage. Their government is trash. And so we're more inclined to support the protesters who want to stop their trash government. Our protesters are trash, and we want to stop them. So the point is, you look at Venezuela, that's a government of trash. That is, what did Javier Milei call them?
I don't know.
It's Merde, left or whatever. How do you say left in Spanish?
I don't know.
Derecha? No, izquierda. Izquierda.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say? Izquierda Merde or whatever?
Izquierda de la izquierda. Something like that.
I don't speak any Spanish. I have no idea.
Yeah, he said something like, you can't give him anything because they'll take it. So you look at what happens in Minnesota. These people running around like lunatics, attacking ICE. I mean, the riots have gotten absolutely insane. They're ramming, like there's a video allegedly of a ramming of an ICE vehicle and they jump out. A guy saying everyone's got to go get guns, start killing these people. And I'm like, yeah, we don't want those people in government. I don't care about their quote unquote free speech. When they go out and they say they want to get guns, start murdering federal agents, that's not free speech. Okay, you want to go and you want to give out leaflets and books, you go ahead and do that. Ideology matters, right? So a government like that turns into Venezuela. Not good. And so that, basically this idea of the protesters are good and the government is always bad is the stupidest thing ever. And that's the game that the liberals try to play with this one. So, whether or not we get involved with Iran is a different thing. But I'm just saying, I guess my final thought on it, don't get wrapped up in propaganda trying to convince you that the entirety of Iran is in revolution, as people are trying to claim. Israel's got major interests in the collapse of the Iranian government and the U.S. involvement there. So you're going to see pressure campaigns, PR campaigns, and activists trying to claim as such. There's obviously U.S. interests in the collapse of the Iranian regime, but I think they're protests. I doubt they're the biggest protests they've ever faced, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's what it is.
Arab Spring worked out pretty well for the protesters, and we didn't need to get involved militarily. It took over Egypt in 2011, overthrew a dictator. So, again, I hope the Iranian people take care of this themselves. I believe they can.
Let's jump to this next story from the New York Post. Renee Good's Minnesota Ice Watch group shared manual detailing how to fight arrests and launch a micro-intifada. Yeah, actually, when you look at the images, it's not just to fight ICE, it's to physically attack them.
Yeah.
Which you can see here the man is doing, and this person is doing. They are physically attacking federal law enforcement. Now, she was trained by them, and what's actually really revealing by this, New York Post already reported she was trained by Ice Watch. Ice Watch instructs people on how to physically assault officers. And now you've got a question over, I guess, intent and state of mind. If this ever were to go to court, I got to tell you, I don't see a reality where this guy can be prosecuted. Even Stephen A. Smith calls Minnesota ice shooting completely justified from a lawful perspective. And that was last week he says this. So what happens when you go before a jury and you say, this one was trained by Ice Watch to physically assault officers? They're going to say, okay. I mean, does that not show a willingness to do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that not terrorism?
Yeah.
Using physical violence to make political movements move forward? I mean, that's terrorism. They're instructing people to commit felonies. Obstruction of federal aid. I mean, look at the diagrams. It's
that's wild. De-arrest is a shaking off, which say, and this is why they all wear masks and they all look identical. That way, after you de-arrest a person, they can't identify who they were trying to arrest. I mean, sometimes they still can in some way or another, but you know.
The federal government sending 1,000 more ICE agents and DHS agents to Minneapolis, that's the correct response.
Yep.
Like that is there should be more police officers. There should be, because not police officers, but more federal agents, because the local police aren't helping. There were riots all weekend and the local police weren't doing anything to stop it. You know, people are being assaulted because they're trying to film right-wingers. Nick Shirley, I think, Cam Higbee, Nick Sorter was assaulted. So the only option you have is to send in more reinforcements, more federal agents. It shouldn't be to actually violate people's rights, but there are plenty of people breaking the law, and all those people that are breaking the law, that are violent, all of them should be put in jail. And the more of them you put in jail, the less of this behavior you'll get.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's kind of imperative. And the Trump administration is doing a good job. Obviously, after the Nick Shirley video, when they flooded in those 3,000 DHS agents, that was the correct decision. Because I think this is like going to define the rest of the Trump administration, what happens last week and then in these next following weeks, is because they absolutely have to set the tone here. I mean, there's no question about it. This is where these leftist agitators will figure out if they're allowed to operate with impunity or not. And it's quite literally, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile.
They
so it's
believe
like,
they're going to.
They
no one's going to
believe.
stop them.
yeah. So it's
like the feds aren't going to do anything about it.
Well, I mean, they're sending in, you know, like I said, 3,000 now. Is it 3,000 plus an additional?
No, an additional 1,000, I believe. So
Yeah.
and they are
3,000 total.
picking up they can't arrest anyone for no reason. They're picking up people that are committing crimes at the smallest level. Like they are getting very tit for tat right now.
Well, I'll give them that. I'll give them that. The riots have been crazy. They've been erupting all day. I don't know if I think I might have a video. I will play this video after this one. That one's a different video. But we've had riots all day, and it's pretty nuts what we're seeing. I don't know if I actually have some of these pulled up. Yeah, check this out. This is Minnesota Today. Tear gas deployed. So apparently what happens is people are stalking these ICE vehicles, and so they just like stop, throw out tear gas, and then keep going.
Yeah.
Who's in this van? There's agents in the van. You got federal agents in the Dodge Caravan here.
Let's jump ahead.
Who they chat was? What had happened up here?
Some asshole jumped out and tried to.
All right. Back there.
Doesn't really seem like much of anything happened. I guess the reporting is that they're being stalked, so they threw tear gas out. But I guess we don't see in this video. I don't know.
I don't know either, but like that's a mild response, right? Throwing tear gas out so that way the people get away from the car. That is not some kind of heavy-handed response. It's like, just get out of here. Deterrence, those kind of things. Like, that is perfectly legitimate.
And they're able to go to this level with zero correspondence whatsoever with the local government, because at least during the Summer of Love, they would establish curfews. They would issue these orders where you can't go to these certain blocks or whatever. This is not happening. I mean, this is literally the feds right now operating completely alone. So the fact that they're able to conduct operations at this level shows a massive difference in how they're approaching this versus 2020.
Civil war.
I mean, it's not a surprise that.
Did you see the head of the Philadelphia Sheriff's Department say this is not real law enforcement and they're going to arrest them, charge them?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What is a civil war? Civil war is when one or more factions is fighting control of a territory or government. And we're at the point now where confidence is shattered. In Minnesota, the fact that ICE driving down the street is being hounded and harassed, they're being treated like an occupying force. These people are making up fake rules, but it doesn't matter, because if they believe it, that's the system of government they will follow. So they say things like, ICE doesn't have legal authority to stop or arrest a U.S. citizen. They made that up.
Yep.
But that's the law they're going to follow, the one they made up, because what you write on paper doesn't matter if people tell you you're lying and they don't believe what's on your paper. So they've made up this weird reality where ICE can't stop Americans, and that's justification for what they're doing. And you've got people driving in from all across the country to Minnesota to effectively engage in conflict with the federal government. Then you've got local government, from the mayor and the governor, up to the governor, saying ICE is illegitimate and they need to leave, and defending the citizens. And you've got, I think it's in Seattle, they're calling on citizens to join the ICE watch groups or the ICE trackers or whatever. The states at the governmental level are lining up against the federal government. Okay, call it whatever you want. But this only goes one direction. When more millennials and Zoomers start getting into office, they're going to ramp things up. And we have seen this from every single liberal personality saying when Democrats get power, they are going to politically massacre the right. They said they're going to arrest Elon Musk. What was that? Who was it? That was Mehdi Hassan.
Yeah.
So the next Democrat needs to campaign on prosecuting Elon Musk. And he didn't say for what. Why? Because Elon Musk didn't do anything illegal.
Yeah, he doesn't.
They're just saying, show trials, kangaroo courts, punish our enemies. And the frail and dainty Republicans say, well, geez, slow down there, Democrats. And then welcome to the modern era. So I got to say, sorry if I'm pessimistic, but I know it's like beating a dead horse at this point, but getting shot at in the past month and seeing all the violence that we've seen that's escalated, and then to see the right is just basically fighting itself, I'm fairly worried.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have good reason to be. I'll provide the optimistic perspective. I think we had far worse riots in LA initially 4 or 5 months ago, and those were calmed down drastically, and we're still engaging in massive deportation operations there. I think Minnesota, although it's a little bit intense right now, things are going to stop sooner than we think, or at least calm down. I don't think these groups are maybe as big as people think. There's a few demonstrations maybe on the weekend, but it's freezing out there in Minnesota. You also got a bunch of old white liberal hippies. And also, I just saw Jacob Frey, the Minneapolis mayor. He put out a statement saying, listen, like, business owners are starting to complain. People want to get back to their normal lives. We can't keep doing this. So you're going to start to get a backlash from the normal people who actually pull some strings in Minneapolis to say, get your stuff in order here so that we can start making money again. Otherwise, we're going to throw all you out.
Yeah.
I'm also hoping that the reaction to the shooting of Renee Good is that leftists stop trying to commit felonies against federal law enforcement because it goes sideways quickly.
Yeah, there's two components. I mean, because with the LA riots, I mean, the big differentiator between the LA riots and these current ones we're seeing is the LA riots were like exclusively ethnic riots. Like they were like Mexican nationalists basically advocating for California to be reclaimed by Mexico or whatever. Versus this is just people that are defending Somalis for some reason. And the only thing that really they have in common is that they're just against Trump, but there's not like any deeper...
They're against the West too, though.
They're against the West, but there's not like a deep like connection to any of these people. These are all like completely disaffected like freaks for the most part. It's really hard to keep those people motivated because like Tim said, I think that's actually a really good point is when they realize like, oh, there's consequences for like running in ICE officers, maybe I'll tone it down a little bit. Maybe that'll be a little bit of a disincentive to just like completely chimp out every time you're in public.
You think so?
I think so. I really do. I think a lot of these people maybe are ideologues, but I think a lot of these people are cowards, and they do realize like, oh, you could die.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the fact that they're handing out, the material showing people how to interfere with ICE, how to basically push back against the government when they're trying to perform their lawful duties. I think that there's more people than probably more than you think, at least, that are there, that are committed, that really want to do this. I mean, look, it's January, right? It's not a surprise to see people out in the streets getting buck wild in June. Right, because it's warm. There's not a lot of, you've got nothing to do or what have you. They'll go out and they'll get wild. In January, you really do need to have people that are at least interested in what's going on beyond, hey, I've got nothing else to do tonight. It's like, it's cold out there. I mean, I know it hasn't been super cold. I think it was in the 40s, like highs in the 40s. But at night it's cold, and that tends to deter people that are just casuals.
I want to show y'all what we are up against. We have this post from Cassandra McDonald's at Cassandra Rules on X. This lady is crying on TikTok because she has kids at home and is going to harass ICE officers. She does it anyway. Got to get those social media brownie points. Completely broken compass. What is wrong with these women? So here's the video. I don't care for the song. Okay. It says, the moment I realized I was in the same situation Renee Good was in, heading to report ICE, and I could potentially never see my kids again, and she's crying on camera. 5150.
Psychotic.
5150. We had this debate last week, and we were talking about, rights and all of that stuff. And I pointed out to this liberal that there are mechanisms in this country where people can be detained without a jury trial as American citizens, because they keep saying this thing like due process. Their due process rights were violated. No. Due process literally just means the legal process that is due to you when you are facing some kind of proceeding. And that means if, like this woman, you should be 5150'd, you don't go to court. There's no jury. They just show up and take you. No. And then you can file for the courts after the fact, but you're not getting a jury trial before they lock you up. And for those who don't know, 5150, it means, typically it refers to, forcefully detaining someone because they're a threat to themselves or others. This woman should, I'm assuming she's lying about this. It's performative social media garbage. How much you want to bet she's driving to the supermarket, fake crocodile cried, turned the camera off, went to the supermarket, bought some eggs, and went home? Right. Like she didn't actually even go anywhere. I'm saying the people who actually do this stuff, like abandon their kids to go obstruct federal law enforcement and commit felonies, should have their kids taken away and be 5150'd. Come at me, bro.
Literally. Libtards will literally cry because they're not allowed to hit ICE agents with their car anymore. Like, what? Like, sorry, that's the new standard, I guess.
I mean, look, the idea that if you're emotionally moved to the point of tears, but you're still going to go to mess with,
she's got to resist,
legitimate law enforcement,
brave resistance.
Like, give me a break, like,
dude. She is what's standing between you and a total fascist takeover of America, dude. If it weren't for her bravely going to Sprouts in the morning,
thank you,
dude,
Karen.
Literally, dude, we would be living in like the gulag. We'd all be in gulags. Right now, this brave warrior. What are
the supermarket chains in Minneapolis?
Dude,
because out here in Florida, you got Publix.
I can't pronounce the Somali words very well. Not good at that. Yeah, this is just these people literally cry and put their life on the line to defend people that they got exposed for scamming, and that's what we're punishing for. They will literally die for it.
What really scares me is, did you guys see the story about the DMT laser thing, where this guy put a laser on a wall and then did a hallucinogenic drug and saw code in the wall, and then invited a bunch of people to do it, and they all saw code in the wall. And instead of just being like, maybe drugs make you hallucinate, he went, the Matrix is real.
Yeah. So true.
Well, I love that story. And I got to admit it, the most convincing thing about that, look, I'm going to say it again. When a bunch of dudes do drugs and then go, I see weird stuff, I'm like, yeah, you're doing drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs do
then
that.
They go, yeah, but I saw code, man, like we're in a simulation. I say, that is not convincing. What is convincing are the NPCs. Mm-hmm. These people who are vapid, empty husks of a being who seem to have no inner monologue or thought process as they mindily drone about like innkeepers in Chrono Trigger. Mm-hmm. Or are there innkeepers in Chrono Trigger? Yeah, there are. Of course there are. Final Fantasy, we'll go with that when you got
Yeah,
innkeepers
there
in
you
that game.
The brainwashing is so strong. She'll leave her own children to go defend Somalian scammers that are hijacking $700 million in suitcases out of the country.
Yes, but what I'm saying is this proves we're in a simulation.
I
true.
She's
agree.
a non-playing character, and she's going beep, beep, beep.
Right. There's
No,
just it's a
I
weird
agree.
glitch. They did an update that ruined their code.
That's what Mandela effects are.
Yeah.
When
There's-
they update, they patch, and it like corrupts old data.
Did you also see that woman's tweet where it had like 20,000 likes, and she was basically just describing how she's afraid of like being forcibly taken advantage of by an ICE agent? And everyone's like, this is the middle-aged women are not okay because
Wait,
they
wait,
were
wait.
all like having fantasies. About
Wait, hold on. You're saying it was like a middle-aged woman, and she was like, "I'm scared an ICE agent will rape her."
Yes.
Do you see the other video? Who posted this where they were like, I think the real, some woman, she was like, I think the real reason all these middle-aged white women are chasing ICE agents around is because they're hot and bothered.
Thirst.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
Straight
no,
up
for real.
thirst. Yeah.
But I'm not playing. I think that's true. There was this viral post on Reddit years ago. I think we talked about it on the show where it was this woman and she was like, I'm a liberal activist. I'm like a 30-year-old woman. And I just fantasize about like a tall, ripped guy in a MAGA hat just taking me.
Yep.
And it's like, you see, look, women want strong men and there's no strong liberal men.
So true.
They're not. They voted for Justin Trudeau because he did that yoga pose on the table.
Yeah.
And they were like, just give me a strong man. Do you guys know what shit testing is?
Yes.
Yes.
You've heard that term from like the manosphere or right? I don't know. Basically, the idea is that women will complain as a test to the man to see if he's strong enough to tell her to shut up.
So true.
That's basically how people have interpreted it. The general idea is that, let's make it academic. Women who did not put pressure on their man throughout human history were less likely to survive because the men were less likely to perform at a higher level. Men who were pressured by women but strong and who stood up and got the job done were more likely to survive, creating a social dynamic where women are always going to be, they're likely to be at a slight net negative. Something is always going to be wrong. And the way I described it was, if you're a woman in a cave and Ugg comes home from work and he has but one fish, and you say, Ugg, bring one fish. Me need two fish. Ugg go, oh, fine, me, Ugg, go get two fish. Guess what? They got extra food. They're going to survive better than the other cave where the wife says to Grog, oh, Grog, okay, one fish. Me love Grog. And then they hug. So the women that were like, do more, you're not doing enough, were more likely to have successful surviving families because they put pressure on the men. I think this is a component of what we're seeing, but it's at a macro scale.
Yeah.
So these middle-aged liberal women are chasing around ICE agents, yelling at them. But I think, and I'm not saying all women are like this. I'm not saying all the liberal women are get so angry. I'm saying this. No, I'm saying
They'll be
there is a
angry anyways.
psychological component for some women.
Yeah.
Where they're looking at these strong guys who are going to stare them in the face and say, shut your mouth. And they like it.
Oh, they're getting feral. They're getting feral. This is what I've maintained this position. This is a very serious political position. Everyone needs to hear me when I say this. This is like just objectively true. You can't debate. Femcells are the biggest threat to the republic right now. Femcells, you've heard of these?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Femcells, like, because they do one of two things. They either just like start like horny posting on Twitter, or they run into ICE agents with their car. That's like they're the biggest issue. You see this woman completely unhinged. So
I thought it was the awfuls. Affluent, white, female, urban liberals.
No, these are femcells for sure. I know them when I see them. I
mean, I
can
kinda thought they were
smell
the
them.
same
It's like a
thing, aren't
pheromone.
There's a
thing,
good
I
mix
think.
of Karens in there too.
There's some Karens. You know, I'm a Karen defender. I'm a big
Karen
big,
defender?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's a whole nother. I could defend that too. I could go on a tangent about why I'm like pro Karen.
I don't want. I'll maybe I'll after the show.
Yeah, we could do after. Yeah, in private. Yeah. I
Just-
don't think I want cameras going when I explain why. It gets very racial. But
Wait. What would you describe Renee Good and her wife? That doesn't necessarily fit the want a
that
strong
one's
man.
tough.
Well, she doesn't have a man. That's why she needed to push the ICE agents, because she doesn't have a man to.
And they didn't have a
test.
Subaru, so they got really antsy.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, she probably didn't have a wallet
Was it,
either.
what was it? It wasn't a Jeep Liberty, was it?
No, it was like a compass or something. I
Yeah,
think.
something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean,
The
it's the
car
same
she's
car.
in, Honda Pilot.
It was a Honda Pilot.
Pilot, there you
Oh,
go.
that is,
Same thing.
that is kind of, if you have a Honda Pilot out there, you might want to trade it in. But
Yeah.
it's true. There is like a weird like feral component with these HUDs.
But
so to
it
speak.
is.
I think it's important to point out and fair to point out that there is a bifurcation in the psyche of, or in the social order that women are experiencing in this country, liberal women, and that is, you cannot be socially accepted if you're with a conservative guy. He's a Nazi, he's a fascist. So of course, there are, I think the majority of circumstances are where liberal women will refuse to date a conservative guy. The ultimate point here is, the psychological argument is that many of these women would prefer to date a strong masculine man who's going to tell them no and who's going to choose to do something aggressive. There was another funny post that was viral on X where, I can't remember who it was. They said on a leftist forum, somebody was asked to name a good male role model. Who would you think is a good, I don't, you guys see this one? And guess who they chose? What was the top post for, can you name a strong male role model on the left?
Tim Waltz.
Aragorn.
Yeah.
Who?
Aragorn. You know, the fictional character from Lord of the Rings?
Oh.
And it was like, you can't, because to liberals, men are always bad. Like that's the liberals, the liberal orthodoxy. Men are bad and privileged. So in order to get a perfect man, he has to not exist. That's what we're dealing with. But that being said, I think psychologically, like this lady crying, I think it's fair to say that all these middle-aged liberal women are hunting down ICE agents because they want to be around them.
Yeah, Ice Tracker is like a dating app for them.
Like, look at this right here. Look at this other video from Cassandra. It says, this guy was so into himself, let's give him the appropriate attention he deserves. No, hold on. Let's think 2 seconds about what that actually means. Let's give him the appropriate attention he deserves. There's an ICE agent. He's tall, no mask on. He fears no man or woman. And they're filming him and yelling at him. Now, why? Why this one guy? And why does he deserve attention? Let's stop for a second and ignore the political context. What would you think if there was a guy standing on a street corner looking around, and he was like a law enforcement guy, and a lady was pointing the camera at him saying, let's all give him the attention he deserves? You'd imagine she's into it. You're like, wow, man, she's posting this being like, look at this guy. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's
Freudian
true. Yeah,
slip.
Yeah, it's like free game for all the fellas out there. Just sign up for. No, yeah, it's a total issue. Sorry, liberal men.
It's the modern Romeo and Juliet.
It's so true. Sorry, the liberal men. The racially insensitive podcasters always get the girl. There's not much that can be done about it.
Racially insensitive.
Yeah, it's true.
We got to pull up this next video right here. Wait, where did it go? Here we go. This one is being called Fafo.
This is beautiful.
This is really important. This is really important. A video going viral showing a dude with an American flag. I'm assuming this is Minnesota, right?
I think so. I don't know.
And when he gets attacked by leftists, he first tries to back off. This is what it means to be a man. You don't choose the fights. You do everything you can to avoid the fights. The fight you avoid is the fight you win. And trust me, man, I've told this story before. I remember when I was a kid. These two guys were at a party. This was at well, I'll keep the details light because it's, I guess it's like the biggest story in the world. But there were two guys. There was a party, and one guy had words with the other guy's wife. He was hitting on her. So it's been 30 years, but I think what happened was the husband swung at the other guy who was hitting on his wife. The guy hitting on the wife then punched the husband, who fell back, hit his head on a desk, and died instantly. And so a stupid sentence and 2 seconds, a man is dead, and the other guy went to prison for murder. And he got murdered because he initiated a fight and killed a guy. And he got charged for it. That's why you avoid the fight. That being said, sometimes you can't. And self-defense was always allowed. All right, so for those that are just listening, guy in the American flag is being harassed by some leftists. Let me just say this too. He's pushing a bullhorn into the guy's ear. That's assault and battery. That could damage your eardrums. And the dude with the American flag is just trying to leave. He's just pushing him away. He's trying to leave. And he's getting followed around.
Yeah.
And it's all about to break down.
He's taking it right in his ear.
I know. The guy's trying to get away from him. He's trying to avoid the fight.
It's assault.
Boom.
Boom. Out.
Knocks him out.
That's
Fight
one.
breaks out. Knocks him out. He
There's another
now
one.
he flees. Now hold on. He's fleeing again.
He's backing up.
He's backing up the whole time.
Even in a duty to
Now they're all
retreat
blowing
state.
whistles. And he's backing up the whole time.
Now, this is
and
the
they
dude that got
They
smacked
keep coming at
already.
him. Knocks him down.
Another guy down.
Now watch the guy in the red.
This is his second time, too.
Crunch. Gone.
Hey, guys.
I count at least 4
The important thing
guys
I want to
knocked
stress,
out.
and I'm going to say it, don't go looking for fights. The important thing is this dude tried avoiding the fight the whole time, and he was backing away, and they would not stop assaulting him, and so, fafo.
Yep.
Even in a liberal blue state where you have a duty to attempt a retreat, like Florida's a stand your ground state, other states, he complied with that. He reasonably retreated the entire time in a way that was reasonable without him turning his back and getting jumped.
Dude, these people could have just not attacked him.
Yeah.
So this is the important thing to understand. Like y'all saw the video. I mean, if you're just listening to the show, you didn't see the video, but y'all watched the video. We just played it, and you know we are attempting to be reasonable. There are certainly people on the right that are like, "Go teach him a lesson, yeah, get him." But we're not watching that happen. The right isn't going out. Nick Sorter didn't show up to Minnesota and start physically attacking people. He went up and started filming what was going on, saying people should know what's happening here. So what did they do? They physically attacked him for it. And then he flees, and they still try to kill him. I don't know if you guys saw the video. They're throwing frozen water bottles at the car. They're spray painting it. And then when he tries to flee, they jump on his car, and another car tries to box him in. He tries calling then the police detain him. He gets detained. I'm warning you guys, the divide is real, and we are probably a couple years out. We've already heard local law enforcement say the federal government's illegitimate. We've already seen, what Nick Sorter got arrested in the Pacific Northwest, attacked here, and the police won't help him. You are an enemy ideologue in those states, and you think you can call the police because you think you're in America. But you are in the multicultural states of America, and you are from the Constitutional Republic of America, and they view you as an enemy. So I wouldn't be surprised if this dude, they're going to charge him.
Man, I mean, I can't say that I totally disagree, but that is very demoralizing. The idea that you can be attacked, obviously the dude was trying to do everything he could to screw up his hearing and cause him as much pain as he could without touching him.
Well, no, he was touching him.
Well,
He's making physical contact with his face. That's assault and battery.
yeah. Like, I mean, I wouldn't argue that was in any way legitimate, but the point I'm making is, like, he is clearly defending himself, and to get, from multiple people, multiple attackers, and to get arrested for that's just totally
Textbook self-defense, in my opinion. I think even in that city, it depends on what part of the region they're in. You could get a decently fair jury. I mean, Kyle Rittenhouse got off, I mean, you can still, and I would say a lot of this anti-Americanism, it's really in their major cities. If you go to the rural areas of Oregon, of Minnesota, it is Trump country. And so it's really just these cities. And frankly, these cities have just such rigged elections. You've got, like I said, $700 million in Somalian suitcases going out of the country, billions more stolen and laundered. What do you think they're doing to the ballots in the elections?
Yeah.
I mean, money's a lot harder to steal than votes. Votes you can just print off, or you could just fill it in yourself. Money's a lot harder. So I have a feeling Minnesota could be a red state if they could actually clean up some of these elections in Minneapolis.
I mean, I would be surprised if there's significant fraud in Minneapolis when it comes to voting.
Massive.
Reconstruction?
What does that look like to you?
The federal government goes into states like Minnesota and asserts federal management over the city and state government, and then begins mass prosecutions of all the fraud and starts targeting the corrupt politicians who enabled and protected the fraud, charging and arresting and removing all of them.
I'm for it.
And then after maybe after you clear out a bunch of the corruption, it could probably be like a couple years. Then you have a standard election on the normal date, and you let the people of Minnesota then figure it out for themselves. And after that, the new politicians come in, and you'll have federal supervision for the next election cycle, and then the feds leave.
I love it.
That's effectively what we're doing without that title. I mean, we aren't taking full explicit control, but we've sent thousands of ICE agents, HSI agents, federal agents, the FBI, they're raiding the daycares, and They've cut off the funding to their SNAP programs, to their other NGO grants. They've cut it off to their child support services. So, I mean, they have completely isolated bureaucratically Minnesota. And I frankly don't know how Tim Walz even stays in government. Eventually, this stuff is going to catch up economically, and there's going to be a lot of powerful business people behind the scenes being like, we got to switch things up.
You know, I always say this on the show because we seem to know things before anybody else because we got our finger on the pulse. You know what am I typing that? I got to type in Waltz. We got our finger on the pulse. Let me see. Wait, why did he just disappear? It was there, then it was gone. Tim Walz. I'm trying to pull it up. There we go. On call sheet, Tim Walz out as governor of Minnesota, and 34% before 2027, 27% before July.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's rumors that I've they're
It's
unconfirmed.
$2.5 million betting volume, prediction volume on him being kicked out of office or resigning before the end of his term. That's fairly wild. And my point is this. Why don't I just buy a ton of, like, he's going to be out. Why don't I'm sitting here reading this every single day, and you're saying to me, like, how is he still in government? And I'm looking at this being like, it's $2.5 million.
Probably going to be indicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
That's what that's what I was alluding to. Like, I've seen people, nothing's verified, but there's a lot of people saying that there are rumors that Tim Walz is going to be indicted.
I can't tell you how many corrupt politicians will run for office as a way to protect themselves from indictment, right? You're seeing Jenna Griswold in Colorado. She's the Secretary of State who put Tina Peters in jail, free Tina Peters. And she was busted releasing the election machine passwords, covered it up for 6 months. People finally found out. And then suddenly Colorado is one of the only states to actually get a little bit more blue in the Trump landslide in 2024. But what did she do once that all got out? A, she stopped tweeting. B, she announced in one tweet, her next tweet was, I'm running for Attorney General. So she's going to run for the chief law enforcement officer position to protect herself from prosecution. Now, look at Tim Walz. That guy is corrupt as they get, and he dropped out of his race. That's how bad it is. He knows what's coming down the pike, and I would assume that some of these Kalshi odds might be correct.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, this is unconfirmed, but Representative Ben Davis is talking about articles of impeachment for Tim Walz. I don't know if that actually has any kind of I don't know if that's going to
The state legislature is not as liberal as the head statewide offices.
I mean, it would be nice to see accountability come to an executive like that, but
Bro, if I put $5,000 on Tim Walz out before the end of the year, I'd make $14,286 right now.
There you go.
I'm just looking at it like I never do anything like this.
They're selling $3 for $1 right now.
Man, look at that. What if I did $50,000?
Let's go. Unlimited money glitch. You just
Unlimited. I was talking to some Gen Z dude about that because he was talking to me about how Gen Z is doing all this gambling content now, like it's blowing up. And I was like, bro, just go on Call Sheet and look for anything that has like a contract closure date in the next week and odds, and favorable odds, which is literally every single bet. And it's a free money glitch because it's rarely wrong. So if you go to Fed decision in January, you got a month, right? 93% it maintains the rate. Okay, yes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or you can buy cut. No, 94%. It's like, yeah, you put $100 there. At the end of the month, you're going to clear $7 free cash.
Wow.
So it's like printing money. Like $64, you did 1,000. But it's rarely wrong. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not telling anybody to do any of this. I was just making that point that we've talked about it for years, where it's like we watch the news every single day, and if I just started trading stocks, like when the show wraps, okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hire a day trader and just be like, after the show, just invest based on what we talked about. And we're printing money. Printing it.
Be sick.
shorting femcell stock.
Did you guys see Inverse Kramer beat Pelosi?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's so good.
It's incredible that you can actually just follow Inverse Kramer. Like, whatever Jim Cramer says, do the opposite, and you'll make a lot of money. And the guy still has a show on CNBC.
These mortgage-backed securities are the safest investment in history.
Everybody pays their mortgage. Who doesn't pay their mortgage?
Come on.
Yep. And also, don't forget, when in Iron Man 2, he was against Stark Technologies.
Yeah.
and he smashed the mug with a bat.
Yeah.
And he ends up saving the whole universe.
Even
I talk about a bad bet.
even in fiction, he can't get it right.
Yeah.
Even in a
Which, you know what's actually funny about it, I bring it up as a half joke, is that actually they did write this knowing full well his prediction was wrong. Like, the point of Iron Man in the movies is that he is going to win.
Yeah.
So they actually wrote Jim Cramer into the movie being wrong.
You'd think
about
Kramer would be
stuff.
like, guys,
Seriously, guys?
hold on, guys. Like, come on. There's
Can I
like,
get it
you
right
know,
for once?
this is 2007 or whatever. So he probably could be like, you know, there's kind of, you know, a little thing starting now. So maybe we shouldn't have me be, you know, blah blah blah.
He's like, can I get it right? It's like, hey, this is fiction, not a miracle, God.
Let's, you know what? Phil pulled this up. Let's talk about this living in the simulation. So this is actually a decently old story. And the claim, people took DMT and then stared at a laser on a wall and saw actual code, actual alphanumeric symbols. And they claim to have seen the same thing. Now, here's what I think. As far as I know, none of these people wrote it down. So they didn't see the same thing.
Right.
They saw something they could all describe as alphanumeric symbols. I have a very simple explanation for this. They were on drugs.
Yeah.
But here's the story.
Scribbling furiously.
CNN embedded with a group of amateur investigators, and by amateur investigators, they mean drug users staring at a wall. There's a bunch of people who love the DMT stuff getting mad at me right now, who openly believe reality is a simulation, and they say they're trying to prove it by finding the code that runs the world, like in the Matrix. We had on Gary the Numbers guy, and if you don't know who he is, he's like, I hear crazy stories about him, like he just wins sports betting like crazy nonstop because he does all this numerology stuff, which I don't believe in. But he said there is a code to the universe, and you can see holes in the code, like cheat codes basically, and if you follow them, you'll follow a pattern. And it's actually not the craziest thing I've ever heard. I think it's actually I think it's sound. It doesn't mean that he's right about everything, but the idea being math is how we describe how the universe functions. Mm-hmm. Basically, there's physics, there's universe, and we've begun writing down how it functions, starting with quantity and finding ourselves now mapping dimensions and things like this. So it does make sense that if math is how we map the universe, you can find patterns in how the universe works by looking at numbers. I don't think that means that some guy sitting in his room looking at the sky is going to figure out that 9-6, he's going to whatever. But it does mean that maybe you get an edge. Maybe it's possible. Well, here's the video. Are we living in a simulation? And I got to tell you, it just looks like drug addicts staring at lights.
5150.
5150.
Jail.
Wow.
Should like Home Depot.
Inhale
It's a stud
slowly.
finder.
This group is preparing to take part in an experiment.
Exhale, keep it out.
One that's meant to show them the simulation.
Thank you, everybody.
Danny Goler created the test, which consists of two parts, a psychedelic drug called DMT and lasers.
DMT stands for dimethyltryptamine. If you smoke it, it produces the most psychedelic explosion known to man. Just in case somebody is not fully aware, this is a big experience. The main jarring factor is the speed. It comes on really fast. It will surprise you, even though I said this to you. It will still surprise you.
Oh, Debbie's about to go.
Great.
Oh my.
Looks smaller than you think. The pixels that make up the screen, so to speak.
Stare into
This
the
is
lasers.
not a laser
That's
beam
good.
right now. And there's almost like a road. The best I could describe it is like snakeskin.
Do you know how many times people said snakeskin? Crazy.
This feels really mythological.
It looks like snakes get right out of
Mythological?
me.
Yeah.
What a great word.
So big.
Do you see
I'm so
snakes?
shocked I saw
Help but
anything.
laugh at this.
How's that the-
That was so unexpected. Like this was not this. It was like this whole world. Not a world I've ever been in
called being
and
on
that I
drugs.
would conceive of.
Do you think what you saw there is other dimensions or...
Well, I certainly can understand now why Danny wants to spend a lot of time there. Because it felt like I wanted to stay there, and it felt like, what else is beyond this?
I'd rather them be doing this than rioting in Minneapolis right now. So I think this is probably the better alternative.
This is where they recruit from.
I don't know, man.
Oh my God.
I don't know if it's actually better, Tate.
I think I'd rather, either they're hitting ICE agents, or, just give them a little DMT and then give them some lasers. They'll be all right.
It's like a cat. You just point the laser at the wall, and the cat just.
I hate all of these esoteric. There's that one where it's have you seen this man in your dream? And it's just a Greek guy. I'm like, I see Greek people all the time. I've seen that guy 30 times a day. What are you talking about?
We can see the exact same thing she's describing.
Yeah,
the DMT.
She's like, it looks like snakes, and I'm like, the laser.
There's nothing about a simulation
does
there. It was just staring into a laser and doing drugs.
And
just ruining my eyes.
They've claimed that they've seen symbols. Let me see if I can actually. We actually live in a simulation. Where's the show me the point where I'm not gonna watch this 30-minute long thing of guys just talking about lasers on walls.
Unemployment
here
can't
we
be
go.
that high.
Let's play this. What's funny is there's a whole cottage industry of drug addicts staring at lasers on walls. Yeah, I'm in the wrong industry. I work so hard every day.
You just need to get in the stud finder industry. You can sell 1 million of these things.
There you go.
Describe what you saw. And just for the record, I didn't tell you this. You said it yourself.
I see letters, definitely letters, numbers and letters. Wow. Chinese.
Chinese?
I just want to take a picture of it.
Chinese people.
Guys. Tate's got this conspiracy theory that beyond the ice wall is Koreans.
It's true.
Yeah, and this proves it.
Yeah, literally, he's like, I see Chinese. I could be Koreans. Can't really tell the difference.
No, he doesn't know it. He doesn't know which
difference.
characters they're, which alphabet they're from.
I see
it's definitely
Kia.
saying something. Can you move it?
Yeah.
You know, it is crazy.
Wow.
You see that?
Okay, so yeah, it's not stuck.
No.
It's not because of the light.
No, it's on its own side. Light is just literally revealing it.
Wow, what the fuck?
People are so disappointing.
Don't get that a lot.
So if you could somehow project it back from the air, you would see it in the air, dude. There it is. And look at the edges, where the light ends, in these areas and up and down. Look at that, how it just reveals it.
Dude's just feeding him.
Yeah. He gets his face blurred because he finished filming. He's like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever done. I don't want that in there.
He's furiously calling. Don't put my face in. Don't.
My wife will kill me.
They're not exactly there. Portions of them. And
Why are they all in bathrobes?
Why aren't they writing it down?
But it's confusing because things behind it kind of make it blurry.
Because pens don't work for that.
And they're not describing anything.
Right.
I see columns and blurry things.
I don't
Characters.
understand how this is the simulation.
It's this.
So they're
just
claiming that it
drugs.
looks like the Matrix with all the numbers and everything. And I'm like, wow, get a piece of paper, write down what you're seeing. I can look at Japanese symbols and copy it. I have no idea what it is, but I'm like, line, line, line. That's easy. Down, dot, line. I can copy a picture. I can't do it well, but I can do it well enough. If they all did that and then everybody showed each other and they were like, they're all the exact same symbols, then I'd be like, okay, that's pretty crazy.
Okay, maybe there's something here.
I mean, you take these people to the eye doctor, they'll do they'll make January 6th look like a birthday party. I mean, they will come unglued. It'll be insane. We got to do that. Can we fund? Is that a thing we can fund? They're looking at the little barn and they're like, oh, I think it's Gartha. I can't tell. Be awesome.
The truth is Koreans control everything.
They do.
I mean, you think about it.
Puppet masters.
How much money do we give them every year?
Korea?
We have what, 30K troops
Yeah.
in South Korea. We're basically providing military service for them. And what do they do? Dance around on TV, shaking it?
Yeah.
Sounds like we.
They provide K-pop for the
K-pop.
world.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Of course. More like K-slop. Come on. What is going on? Oh, yeah. China's our global adversary. Okay. We kind of see what's going on here. Your little peninsula. And then the North and South Korea is just a fake divide to get more money out of us. Behind the scenes, they're chumming it up.
See, I want to clarify too, because I'm not immediately. I actually am deeply interested in the DMT stuff because What we're looking for in these experiments is replicable phenomena. So there have been stories where two people unrelated to each other in a similar area were brought in for an experiment where they did DMT, and they both experienced the same thing, but were separated from each other, and then described to researchers very, very similar events with the same people. When they blast off, they see like what they call machine elves, which is just like a stupid phrase someone came up with, but weird entities. And there have been people who have claimed to have experienced the exact same things despite never talking to each other. That's where it gets interesting. So when you see something like this, I'm like, guys, write it down. Like, we're interested in this. Joe Rogan had a whole, like, 6-year arc on this. We love it. Just write it down. The fact that they haven't, or that it's not a component of the story, says to me they're making things up. Like, you're literally just on drugs.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the whole story. Look, there's drugs and there's lights, and people are interested in lights when they're on drugs. I mean, like that's kind of like a story as old as drugs.
Yeah.
You know, like
I knew this guy when I was a teenager, and he was telling me aliens were real because he'd seen it.
and saw lights.
He said, no, he saw a UFO float above his house. And he's like, I'm not kidding. He's like, I came out of my backyard. Now he was in his 20s. And he's like, I was smoking a cig, and then a UFO came down over the back of my house, and it was in the suburbs of Chicago. So it's like decently populated, but still houses are a little bit. It's not like they're literally just next to each other like in the city. And then I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah, dude. And I was like, well, like, tell me the story. What happened? He's like, well, me and my buddy, we were in his basement, and we were just doing like a bunch of acid. And I went, okay. And then he was like, and I was drinking, and I went outside to have a cigarette, and I saw a UFO. And I was like, do you think that had something to do with the acid? He goes, no way, man. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I knew this.
Maybe.
The police,
I knew
maybe
this,
the police helicopter, you know?
Right?
Yeah, I knew this Albanian dude in college, and he took a bunch of LSD. And after that, he would always wear earplugs. And he's like, I don't want them to have access.
Oh, God.
Bro, there were people that, you know, in my old neighborhood who like
Everyone knows they go up.
did drugs one time and then just went retard like that.
Yeah, normies get one shot if they can't handle it.
I think everybody does.
Everyone can't handle
Maybe
it.
some people don't. Like the people talk about like microdosing LSD, and it like opens your mind and you can contemplate ideas you couldn't before that you were locked out of. But I mean, I've heard stories. I don't know if it's true because I don't like hang out with the guy every single day. But there were people who were like, yeah, this one dude did acid one time, and then he was a completely different person after that. He became an asshole. Everybody hated him, and he was just like, whacked
All those
out.
stories are exactly why I didn't do any
literally.
significant drug, or I'd never had significant drug use in my life. Heard stories about like if you do coke once, you're going to have a heart attack. I was like, all right, well, I have no desire to do that.
Oh, if you take acid, you unlock new flavors on the Coke Freestyle machine. It's like, be awesome.
Yeah, like
You can like what looks like a white part of the screen to everyone else. You can see the just floating definition. You press it, and then it just changes. And then everybody else, the screen is just white, and they can't see anything. And then you press the buttons, and then like a weird color no one's ever seen before comes out.
Diet fentanyl? What?
Yeah.
Look at the one city where they did a lot of this, like microdosing and all that, San Francisco, and that didn't turn out too well. So
yeah, they invented Facebook.
Failed experiment. I'd
Yeah,
say.
they're right now. They've been doing this. We talked about this for years. The extended state DMT experiments, where they're hooking people up with IV DMT. So they just go into like a 4-hour DMT trip. Because the way people describe it is that when you do a massive dose of it, you blast off.
Even Joe Rogan's like, yo, no, that's not how you do it.
He's like, you do it. I don't want to do it. Like, let's see what happens. But you blast off, and some people they call it what do they call like breaking through the veil or whatever. God. That if you do enough, it's like it's been described as. How do they describe it? Like you're yourself, but you see another dimension almost.
Oh yeah.
And you can see entities, and they talk to you. And the creepiest thing about it is they offer you deals.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Deal, like,
I was talking to Mike Cernovich about this. It's like and Alex Jones. So
what kind of deals?
They offer you knowledge and success. And I was talking to Mike Cernovich and Alex Jones about this. And he was talking about how there are a lot of people that they're like secularists, they're atheists or whatever. And so they call them the entities. And he's like, but they're demons. They're demons. And they offer you the deal and you can't take it. But people do. And he thinks there's a lot of evil people out there that they control things so easily because they have access to these entities that give them information, but it's just cutting a deal with a demon. And I said, what is the downside of the deal? And it's like, the bill comes due. They're not giving you something for nothing. You're doing these, you're taking these psychedelics and you're getting access to this plane of existence where you're seeing these beings and they say to you, we'll make you smarter. We'll make you succeed. Just take our gift. We just want to help you.
Right.
But it always comes with something and you never know what it's going to be or what you get involved in. It is demonic. Now, I don't know. Call it whatever you want, but I will say this. Maybe what they describe as angels and demons were just a way to describe them in the past to what people call these elves or entities now. And you're taking this massive psychedelic and seeing something you normally don't see and then cutting these deals. And real quick, just DMT does exist already in your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you go to bed, when you dream, you get a little bit. When you die, you get a big dose. What if normally people are able to pray, and with this chemical in your mind, you have a pinhole to look through when you're praying to commune with angels or demons or to God or whatever. And when you blast yourself with DMT, you rip that hole open, and now the demon's staring you in the face and saying, I'm going to cut you a deal.
Gosh. That's how Aaron Rodgers ended up on the Jets. The Bill Gang do. Yeah, that's
He
what
took
it was.
DMT and said, get me on the Jets. And they went,
He's
got
like,
it.
I wanted some Super Bowls. I was like, you're going to have to play for the Jets someday.
You're going to have to play for the
Yeah,
Jets
that's
someday.
rough. There's some deals.
That's the downside.
Dude,
You'll win that, but then you end up in New York. You end up in Newark.
you end up in New Jersey. Can you imagine? It's like, we give you all the... It's like, no deal, no.
Yeah. It'll be great for a
All
while.
Let's jump to the story from the Washington Post. Trans athletes said to the Supreme Court, neither science nor the American public is on their side. Wait,
What are they doing at the Supreme
This is
Court?
interesting. Apparently, the mainstream media is starting to go anti-woke, and I got big predictions about this, but here's the Washington Post. They say, the Supreme Court has the chance this week to save women's sports, allowing states to restore a level playing field for girls by excluding biological men, and thereby correcting one of the worst excesses of America's Cultural Revolution. What? The Washington Post wrote this? They had Taylor Lorenz on staff. Talk about crazy. I mean, this is a 180. And what we've already seen with CBS hiring Barry Weiss, it is very, very obvious. The corporate press is making the moves to go anti-woke because they knew it destroyed their brand and credibility, and they're all going broke because of it. That's my prediction.
They've admitted defeat.
Yeah,
I mean,
we won. I mean, when you get WAPO being like, get men out of women's sports, it's like, okay.
We won. Popular vote.
Yeah,
I mean, the popular vote is the popular vote. And Trump was anti all this stuff, and he's only gotten more votes every single time he's run. And I think they're just saying, okay, these random influencers and content creators are absolutely eating our lunch, and our numbers are going down, and we're firing people and going bankrupt. So maybe let's just tweak our message a little bit and say that boys are boys and girls are girls again.
The gay race communism is losing favor, so they're going to go back to vulgar Marxism. That's why you've got all these bills targeting billionaires and trying to get after people's property, you know?
These sports marketers like ripping their hair out seeing this though. They're like, finally everyone's talking about women's sports. It's been on these like, release the freaks. Come on, let's make this exciting, you know? Throw one on an NBA team or on a WNBA team. That sounds like I'd tune in. This could be a mistake. If you're in sports marketing, this could be the biggest hit to your industry.
Yeah, watch them dominate. It's going to be bad for sports betting too, because you can always just bet on the trans.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, Brittany Griner, easy, taking the over, no question about it. Yeah.
No,
Did you ever see the ESPN one where it was like guess the bicep and it was like big hairy armpit?
I didn't see that.
No, I disavow. Like, this is good. We want to protect women's sports. I'm just saying, for the pros at the pro level, they should consider it. You know, this could maybe I'd be tuning into, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
some WNBA. I don't know. It'd be great.
I mean, I understand that this is the story at hand, but I do think that it's worth noting that like this is something that's basically happening, you know, society-wide. Like, people are kind of just like, this is not something that we're okay with.
Because they started letting them like wrestle and like box and stuff.
They don't everything. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
crazy.
look, you know, we just had a story the other day about I think it was on the after show, a trans woman, which is just a dude, sitting there in a woman's what is it, the Planet Fitness?
Oh,
just,
yeah.
You know, just going at it with himself because he's in the woman's bathroom.
Well,
Nobody
it was
wants
Planet
that.
Fitness.
Well, it was Planet Fitness, but nobody, even people that go to Planet Fitness don't want that. Like, I don't care how progressive you are. No women want to be in the bathroom with a male in public with a male that's masturbating.
Dude, I agree.
That's just not it.
But Planet Fitness attendees are battle hardened. They've seen some stuff there at Planet Fitness, dude. It is like freaking Bourbon Street out there. Like, it is wild.
Bourbon Street has nothing on Planet Fitness.
Dude, Planet Fitness. Talk about a cultural revolution. You go to Planet Fitness, dude, you're lucky to get out of there like with your dignity intact, man. It's rough.
Definitely not.
Talk about making some deals with the devil. You ever sign a Planet Fitness contract? Dude, it's rough.
But but honestly, like this is something that's, extremely unpopular with the American people, and you're going to see it. I think you're going to see this kind of backlash going against states like California, where like you can legitimately have your kids taken away if you don't have the proper policy, or if you don't have the right ideas about your child's gender. Which again, gender is made up too. You have male and female sex. Gender is just your sex spirit, which is BS made up for the purpose of this whole garbage.
Well, if I'm being cynical, this is them freshening up their message for the midterms. That's what's going on, because like that goes without saying, they've completely overplayed their hand. They've just gone for complete lunacy. And so this is like probably a call coming from the DNC, like, guys, we got to trick these people into voting for us again. So don't scare them, stop scaring these people. Maybe throw them a bone here. I don't buy this. I don't buy that this is like the WAPO just coming around like, whoa, wow, this is clearly an excess of the Cultural Revolution. This is them like making a conscious decision, like, we need to stop scaring normal people.
Yeah.
So let's rebrand a little bit and touch it up, because as soon as they get in the office, they'll push the same policies.
I don't know if they'll push the same policies, but like I said, it is a turn towards vulgar Marxism. It's a turn towards, we're going after the people that have money, because you got people that are, essentially upset about their economic situation because the economy has been kind of rough in the past couple of years. So you got so many people that are already just like, look, they're suffering under the inflation for the past 5 years or what have you. And so they're basically legitimately PO'd, and so they think that it's a much more it'll be a much more functional thing for them to go ahead and say, look, we're after the rich people, we're after the billionaires. There's a lot of billionaires out there that have left the left, that have left the left with a bad taste in their mouth. They start giving money to people on the right, giving money to Trump. You can hate, it's easy to hate Elon Musk and et cetera. And so they're just like, look, we're going to go after the people that have money. You get way more people that can point the finger and say, that's the reason that my life sucks, as opposed to if you're just like, well, that dude in the bathroom, in the woman's bathroom, we have to support him,
Yeah, well, that's why you're seeing Zoran like spend all of his political capital on economic issues and these sorts of things. And it's like, in some ways, people don't want to hear this, but in some ways that's going to affect you like much more drastically, because that's going to like actually completely derail your life if you're just trying to, like, these stuff are important, but these are like, in some ways, like, a lot of people, they don't interact with this on a daily basis. How about him like flooding the market with rent controlled apartments? These sorts of things like have a serious, they completely destroy your life, completely screw over your life. I mean, and the reason I make this point is because you saw a lot of people coming out and defending Maduro, because they're like, but look how good he is on social issues, like gay marriage is outlawed there, and that's so based. And I'm like, I promise you, the Venezuelans would probably cut that deal to take American social policy if it means like not getting their money stolen from them. Hey, they're both bad. They're both excesses of Marxism. Ultimately, I'm just saying, like, don't buy it when these people do like a bait and switch and they suddenly are, really sensible on social issues. And I'm willing to move a little bit, but the economics are still like, hey, we're going to steal from you.
Yep. I'm just going to go ahead and say conspiracy. Going back to this article from the Washington Post, everything's fake. It's all bots. It's all pre-planned. Everyone's lying. I met a guy recently, and I was hanging out with my buddy Robbie. Shout out Robbie. And then as we were walking away, he asked Robbie, is Tim really mad with like a Candace? And he was like, bro, just ask him. And the guy was like, well, I don't know. And then Robbie was like, hey, yo, this guy wants to ask you a question. He's like, did you actually beef? And I was like, yes. And he was like, everything's fake, I just don't know if it's like you're really beefing or it's like a scripted thing. And I'm like, bro, yes. But you know what's really crazy is that I met another guy. Shout out Neve. What's up, brother? Neve said, be nice. He said, be nicer. I said, okay, brother, I'll do my best. But he even asked me, like, how much of this is real? Because everything's fake and people don't believe it anymore. And so I think these were younger guys, like maybe younger millennial and older Gen Z. And it seems very much like their view is the stuff I watch on the YouTube is scripted, fake WWE stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame them. Because look at this. Look at the comments on the Washington Post article about trans athletes in sports. Let me ask you guys. Do you think that the view of the commenters are going to be pro trans athletes in women's sports or anti?
I mean, my guess is anti, yeah.
Anti, and like they think men should not be in women's sports.
Yeah.
You think the Washington Post's audience?
I think they'd be pro.
No, like they're
Their
very like
comment
they
section would
want
be pro
transgender.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Washington Post wrote this article. Everybody's shocked. Like, why is the Washington Post saying men not in sports?
Right.
So what is the presumption we're going to have? 876 comments. The Washington Post audience is going to be like, "You're bigots. Why are you saying this?"
Right.
Yeah. No, they're all coming out now and saying, "I have voted Democrat for decades, but I'm of the firm opinion the Democratic Party support for this is ethically and scientifically absurd position was a huge resonating factor in costing the Democratic Party legitimacy. There should be male sports and female sports. Only biology should be taken into custody." For progressives that think trans men and women's sports is a non-issue when we have bigger things to worry about. The bigger thing is that it was possibly a difference in the 24 election. If you want to be trans, that's fine, but you don't get to compete in sports with your chosen gender. Now, hold on there a gosh darn minute. How is it possible? I don't believe it. Bring on the DMT. I want to see the code because we live in a simulation.
So true. Well, this is why I got some flack. I brought Amber Duke on the show. This was before the Christmas break.
How could you?
Total patriot, Amber Duke. And I brought her on. We talked about that Compact piece where they were like, oh, they're walking through all the data of how white guys have been oppressed, which is empirically true. But me and her had this critique of the article because everyone was like glazing it. They're like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And our critique was, the author, Jacob Savage, didn't actually provide any solutions for the issue. What the purpose of that piece was it was a permission piece. So it was to signal to liberals, hey, we're abandoning this policy now, and you guys need to pick up the talking points. That's exactly what this is. This is a permission piece where now they're sending out messaging like, hey, you're allowed to be against this now. We're changing
Look at the front page. Look at the front page. They say they're monitoring ICE arrests. Feds say they're breaking the law.
Yeah.
That's at minimum neutral.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
That's what it is. These are permission pieces. The DNC is like, hey, we need to change course a little bit, so we need to start,
And
the baby birds need their messaging.
Look, to the point about, the guy was talking about me and Candace, I think that there is a move to create what we call the retard right. The idea is the uniparty establishment went anti-Trump. Okay, so here, I'll give you the quick elevator pitch. The Republicans didn't want Trump to win, but Trump does win. And now there's a problem. The right is behind Donald Trump. So the Democrats, the neocons, merge into a singular group, always the uniparty, and say, okay, we're against whatever they're for because we have to defeat them. And so they start embracing wackaloon, woke, and progressive ideas. Thus you get child sex changes and all this stupid garbage. And the liberals just say, yeah, we all agree with this. This burned them down. They were trying to muster up a unified front against Donald Trump because he was not part of the establishment machine. They couldn't beat him. They burned their credibility. And then after Trump crushes them in 2024, they said, guys, it's not working. Okay? We've lost all credibility. We've lost suburban housewives. We have done shows wholly about this subject where they are spending billions to fix this problem. Surprise, surprise, CBS News hires Barry Weiss and goes anti-woke, and Washington Post is all of a sudden now being somewhat neutral, if not with that editorial on trans and female sports, anti-woke. Yeah. At the same time, YouTube puts on the front page what we call the retard right. People who are like, did you guys see that there was a crisis in our banking sector? The Jews did that. And you're like, well, okay, sure. Did you also notice that my sandwich was molding? The Jews did that too. And you're like, no, hold on there, gosh darn a minute. I'm exaggerating, right? But the retard right is basically blaming Jews for everything, and they sound like retards. They sound almost as retarded as the people who are claiming children should get sex changes. Okay, you want to talk about government interests and foreign lobbyists and all that stuff? Agreed, it exists. And AIPAC should register as a foreign agent. All of those things are fine. But when you claim that Zionists are forcing the United States government to invade Venezuela, you sound like you're retarded. And that's the play. The play is to fracture the right so that the people who are too stupid to see it's an op are going to embrace the retard talking point. And I'm seeing people who've been friends of this show and friends of mine posting on X retarded things, and they're going to get burned for it because it's what I will say is this. There's a distinction between woke right, like what James Lindsay and these other people had been pushing. I am not talking about this. I am not talking about a group of people that have critical race theory views or whatever, but are conservative or whatever the argument was. I am talking about a concerted effort from YouTube and other big social media platforms that for some reason in their algorithm are propping up specific voices that have retarded conspiracy views of the world. They're not advocating for child sex changes or necessarily identitarianism. They're claiming that they're saying insane things, like Tim Pool tried to buy the Daily Wire. So they're sounding like retards. Yeah. And what happens is the Washington Post is starting to sound sane. CBS is sounding sane. And the middle of the road people like me, like Elon, like Rogan are going to be attracted to this. And then the people that chase the algorithm, like the Pied Piper machine is driving them, are sitting on X now screaming the Jews did it. And more importantly, there is a guy who stabbed me in the back specifically to chase these views, lying about our company, lying about our security, lying about him being at our studio, who's never at, doing it for views. So now he's burned bridges with me. He could have come on the show. He could have called me on the phone and said, I want to come on the show and talk about it. Instead, he chases the algorithmic push. And he looks like a retard. Yep. They're going to burn bridges, burn fans, sound insane to regular people. 2028 is going to come along, and they're going to demand the Republican Party address the Zionist. They're going to address all these weird crackpot conspiracies. And then the Washington Post and CBS are going to come out and say, we're the sane ones. Trust us. I don't know the Democrats can muster up a candidate, but Stephen A. Smith said Renee Good's shooting was justified under the law. And he's who they are floating for a candidate. So what's going to happen in 2028? If J.D. Vance goes the route of the retard right to try and court the populist right who's believing retarded things because the algorithm promoted it and the grifters made money, and then Stephen A. Smith comes out and says, that's insane. Woke is insane. The Republicans have gone crazy, and the Democrats, we're kicking the crazies out. Joe Rogan's going to vote Democrat, and he's going to tell his audience to do it, and they're going to win.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you have this entire contingency of people, like we were talking about the DMT, where people just get one-shotted by it. It was kind of the same thing where it was like these people that learned about sort of the discourse around Israel and Zionism for the first time in like 2024 because it showed up on their like Instagram Reels feed, and they got one-shotted by it. Like they legitimately can't handle the concept of nuance. And unfortunately, politics at the granular level is actually quite boring. And so when you're like discussing our relationship with Israel, or perhaps like, Zionism, its influence with the United States, with our government, the way our lawmakers conduct their affairs, it's like a nuanced conversation. Like it requires, again, like a degree of delicacy so you don't sound retarded. But these people just get one-shotted by it, and it like completely, like that's all they talk about. They just turn into like literal, where you can predict every single thing they're going to say. And I agree with Tim. I do think this is the play. I think the Democrats, or the establishment ones that just want to win, they just want it more than we do. They're realizing like, hey, this is the play to get back in. I do think J.D. Vance, I'm not saying you're saying this, but I do think he's very prudent. I don't expect that he's going to play ball. I haven't seen, he hasn't thus far like really played ball with the retard right, so to speak. I think he knows that it's a smaller proportion of the base. They're just very vocal, and he doesn't really need them to stitch together a coalition in 28. Yeah. But it's going to cause problems when you have these commentators that are probably outsized in influence because they just have built up a lot of goodwill over the years, weaponizing that to try and derail Vance 28. And that's going to be a huge issue going into the primaries.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way that the left has operated is so unpopular, and all you have to do is look at the presidential election, right? The way that Donald Trump won all of the swing states, the entire country moved to the right to some degree. It wasn't a huge swing, but it was uniform across the whole country. So whether or not the situation with the right is accurate, the situation you guys are talking about, it doesn't take a genius to look at what happened in that election and say, maybe we should back off the things that are unpopular with the American people and stop trying to force them. And it's real easy to figure out what those things are, and that's my estimation of the whole thing. Is like the Democrats are like, this stuff didn't work for us. It's really unpopular with normal people. If we want them to vote for us again, we got to stop pushing it.
I think there's three things I've noticed recently with a lot of this kind of fervor. The first thing is people in our world, creators, influencers, that kind of wildly overestimate the actual real world impact this has on votes and voters. I've been pretty close in some congressional campaigns, Senate campaigns, and the things that really get voters out is door knocking, is mailers, is local advertisements. So as much as there is, national numbers with virality and whatever, it doesn't necessarily translate to local districts that well. The second thing I would say is it seems like some of the fervor has actually started to really die down. And I think there's two reasons behind that. One, the war in Gaza is really starting to wind down. It's a lot less volatile. and with that, the emotions have started to die down. And two, I noticed a overnight change once Elon put in people's X profiles what country they're from. And you really started to see some of the loudest, most divisive voices who are trying to fracture the MAGA base, because there are so many reasons, so many international interests, be it the war machine, be it the EU, be it the tariff battle, where those outside forces wanted to weaken Trump's support, and they finally found a wedge issue where they could. And I saw overnight a drastic drop in the intensity of that division once Elon posted what countries these people were from. Yeah. And you noticed probably a third, if not half, of the loudest voices were actually from overseas.
That was like the best day on Twitter history. It felt like a Scooby-Doo, like the end of a Scooby-Doo episode. It's like pulls it off, like the Marblehead statue profile picture, and you pull it off. You're like, I would have got away with it too if it weren't for you meddling conservative.
I mean, and I don't care what issue is hot today. It doesn't mean it's going to be hot in a week or especially in a month or two. Again, there's nothing. If there was some way to easily keep something hot, companies would put all their money into that for, advertising. Virality is really hard to stay hot. You always got to be adapting. Audience interest change. People kind of get desensitized to stuff. Eventually they're like, all right, this again, like what else, Right.
Well, and because at the end of the day, if you are a political commentator and you have like a certain vision for how you think America ought to be, is you are in the business of determining what is politically viable, what is a politically viable vehicle for your ideas. And when you become like a slave to the algorithm, you're just going to get tossed around, and then it becomes very incoherent what your actual vision for this country is. Yeah. And then that just becomes increasingly frustrated for, the people that are consuming this content. And then all that results out of it is literally just a schizophrenic base that doesn't know what it wants or what vision they have for America.
A lot of people need to be told what they want.
Yeah,
honestly. And to your point about JD Vance, I do think that JD Vance is actually pretty solid.
That's why there are laugh tracks on TV shows.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't stand any show with a laugh track. I just can't do it.
Well, it's like you've seen behind the curtain. You're like, this is so fake now.
I love the laugh.
Like seeing the lady that needed to be 5150. It's almost surreal to be so awake to the BS and to see people still trapped in it. You're like, you're a sentient human being, and you are still trapped in the Truman Show, really. And then the laugh tracks. Growing up, I was like, yeah, it like makes me want to laugh too. And now I look at it, I'm like, this is like dystopian BS.
Never made me want to laugh. Never liked it. Yeah, I've always hated laugh tracks.
Oh, I love the laugh tracks.
I was in the Matrix earlier. I
want to steal
8-9 years ago.
I think this is on Korean.
But
that's what
to Tate's theory.
Yeah, very precise, serious.
I would just stare at the TV angrily. Like Simpsons didn't have a laugh track.
No laughing. No. That's not funny. Just very serious in your Chicago.
That's right.
No, Jerry, not funny.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
Really?
Yeah, I hate laugh tracks.
But what happens when you watch like Seinfeld and they take the laugh track out? Does that like disturb you?
That's funny.
That's true.
Then you're like, wow, these guys are all having grand mal seizures. Like Jerry's like, George. And you're like, oh, his brain.
What are they on DMT? What's going on? Yeah, no, I love it. I think like the cartoon sound effects would be great. Like that video of like the brawl going on. Can you imagine? Like, that'd be hilarious. Like a cloud forms and there's like fists going out. That'd be great. Like I'd love politics if that's how it was.
Like Big Bang Theory is not funny in any respect. Seinfeld actually was, but the laugh track was annoying.
Yeah.
And you take it out, you still have humor.
Right.
You don't need it. Big Bang Theory has no humor. Seinfeld, no way. Seinfeld couldn't have been a live audience. Nobody can hear you, by the way, so it's like I'm just talking to myself over here. No one knows what the question was.
It's DMT. It's weird.
It's the DMT. We blasted off before the show, man. We were talking about making the show more interesting for 2026 and beyond, and so it's
we just get blitzed before the show. Yeah, it's great.
Most of Seinfeld was filmed in front of a live studio audience at CBS Studio Center in Studio City.
But they're outside.
Huh?
They go outside. They do stuff.
Well, I mean, a lot of that stuff sets.
Crowd follows them outside.
No, bro, they're literally outside.
I'm telling you what
you mean like fake? But like a studio audience in a out? No, bro. There's scenes where they're in the street driving cars. It could be like a closed set studio with a fake street.
Yeah,
but you're not putting an audience in front of that.
Like I said, it says most of Seinfeld was.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Do you ever you watch like the Andy Griffith Show and then everyone in that laugh track is dead? That's creepy. You go back and watch the show, and it's like
Bro, that's true for every laugh track.
Yeah, they're all from the 60s. Yeah,
exactly. So you're watching Big Bang Theory, and you're just hearing a cacophony of wailing death.
Yeah.
No, it's like what is this, purgatory?
None of them have made it.
You know, to be fair, we're in Florida. It's kind of like that because everyone's so old.
You know, it really does trip me out, like where we're going. So you walk into a casino, right? And you'll see this. Have you guys seen? You guys have been to casinos in recent?
Yes.
Memory, right? Have you seen how slot machines are these days?
Yes.
They're like 12 feet tall, and they
Curves
like
over
curve
you.
over you.
Yeah.
And so I walk in one day, and what do I see? Lo and behold, no one other than Gene Wilder, dressed like Willy Wonka, smiling at me from 12 feet high. And I just thought to myself, this is a horror film.
Yeah,
that's creepy.
Can you believe like Gene Wilder sitting back while they're filming this, and like death comes to him in the night and just floats in a black cloak and says, "In 50 years, they will use your likeness in gambling slot machines where you'll grant money to the elderly." And he's just like, like, I can't imagine. There's a lot of this stuff. There's like a Whitney Houston one. And I'm like, how did they acquire the rights to this? And I'm just thinking how insane it is that one day someone, I'm going to have like a great-great-grandson, and he's going to be this snooty little prick who's like born into money. And then he's going to be like, sure, I don't care my great-great-grandfather's likeness. Give me $50 billion, because of course $50 billion will be the equivalent of 50,000 that far in the future. And then they're going to put my likeness on slot machines, and it's going to be like, and we're all going to be on it. And it's literally going to be like, you know, like that weird rewind thing they do.
Yeah.
And then you hit a jackpot, and then I'm doing that weird dance I did from like 2020.
It's gonna be a poker-themed slot machine. It's gonna be Tim with like a full house being
No,
like,
it's going to be me going like
Tin
this. Like that
pools
weird
of
dance I
money.
did that everyone made a meme out of.
Civil War. Wow. This is great. Yeah, I don't want
And
to.
yeah, you get like three. You get three.
You have 3 pool waters.
No, I was gonna say. I was gonna go for a Turkish one. I'll just say 1911s. They go pa-ching, 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 and then it goes Civil War.
Yeah. This would be great.
And then like stolen gold comes in, and
No, with all these slot machines, like I've now been.
no, they're super chats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
There
like
you
you're
go.
sitting there, and like the reel is it's a chat going up. Oh, this dude, we gotta make this.
You should make your own slot
Bro,
machine.
this is legit. So basically, have you guys ever played a slot bonus game?
Yeah.
So there's one that's really popular. It's called Huff and Puff. And the way it works is it's a bunch of pigs, there's a big bad wolf, and then the reels spin in the slot machine, and if you get a hard hat, it will create a straw house. And then if another hard hat hits, it makes a wood house, and another one makes a brick house, and the mansion is golden bricks. So like there's a lot of slot games where a stupid thing happens. This is perfect. Ours, the reels turns into the chat feed, and you see chat going up, and they're saying things like, you know, a juice box and
7,000.
7,000, things like that. But then a super chat comes in for like $20, and it goes like, cha-ching,
I just had a
and then it, like,
kid.
adds to the count. Yeah, exactly. Like, I had another baby. $50 comes. We got to make this.
I want my slot machine.
Can I vibe code this?
This is, I will say, like, I've been exposed to like the slot machine world. If you're playing slots, if you've played slots in the last year, I don't want to hear you mouthing off about Coco Melon ever again, because it's like the sensory overload when I'm looking at these things.
It's so good though.
It's like, yeah, I just feel like I'm like,
That's what
just
you're
saying,
paying
yeah,
for.
we're like DMT now.
There's a Wizard of Oz one.
Really?
Yeah, and it's got all the actors in it and like the Wicked Witch, and I'm just like you will live to see horror, man-made horrors beyond your comprehension. Is an understatement. Like, could you imagine if you were able to bring a visage of the future to the people who are filming The Wizard of Oz and be like, this is what you have wrought. This is your legacy. Old lady sitting down going,
they'd all commit suicide.
and have you ever seen the meme where it's all the old people and they're just going like this on the button?
Yeah.
They're just mashing. That's casinos.
It's
Literally.
It's just
horrifying.
Having the time of their lives.
and then the numbers are going brrrr, and then the casinos the numbers are going brrrr.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
And no one's grandchildren are being called either. That's
I'm gonna make
To be fair,
a.
the grandchildren aren't calling them either.
I'm gonna
That's
make a
true.
slot machine called Somalian suitcases.
Ooh, there you go.
And when you win, the
It's like Deal
daycare
or No
just
Deal,
shoots
but-
the money out the window.
Bro, wait, hold on. Like, dude, somebody watching can make this. It's Deal or No Deal, but instead of beautiful models, it's a bunch of Somalis.
That'd be so sick.
Horrible.
That'd be awesome.
You really are demented.
You got to figure out which one's smuggling the $700 million through the airport.
And all the cases have $1 million in them.
Tim Waltz is the banker trying to cut deals. Like, no.
Well, it's varying degree. No, it's got to be like deal or no deal. It's varying degrees of fraud revenue. So it could be as low as $10, but as high as $700.
It is like hot girls, but they're on burqa, so you can't see anything anyway.
Somali fraud deal or no
We
deal.
gotta do Somali deal or no deal. They're all in their like letterboxes. Like, you don't know what's going on. I think she's hot. I don't know.
South Park, get on it.
She sounded the way she opened that case was hot. I don't know.
It's only funny if you know about the story with the briefcases full of cash in the airport from this past week. Otherwise, people are like, why do they have briefcases full of cash? Because that's what they were doing.
We just got to do game show like consulting. Like Timcast IRL, it's cool and all, but we should just pay people to call in. It's like we have some game show ideas.
Can we just AI this?
Can we just AI Somali dealer?
What's Grok could do it, right?
I'm sure Grok.
Bro, I'm going for it.
Dude, Grok's like sexually assaulting people. It'll do anything. It'll do anything, dude.
I saw that. It's like some dude was like, put me in a bikini, and it did.
It put dude, that picture we took with Chrissy Mayer. It put all of us in a bikini. I just saw it. I was like, can I sue?
No, you can't.
How do you? Where's the video button? Anyway, we'll do this in the members only show where we goof off and waste everyone's time.
So true.
We're gonna go to your Rumble rants and super chats, my friends. So smash the like button, share the show with every single person you have ever met in your life. Bro, I've got phone numbers in my phone book going back 20 years, and I don't even know who these people are. I'm just gonna go into my phone book
Text a
real
random
quick,
person, be
and
like,
I'm
"Hey,
gonna
have you
swipe
been
real
watching?"
quick, just randomly in my contact list, and
Just shove the link in there and don't say anything else.
all right, let's see. Who do I have in here? I've got Brian Callen, Candace Owens, Cenk Uygur.
Share,
Make a group
share-
chat.
This is not even a joke. It's
Just-
actually my phone book.
Just send
That's like
all
my
those people the
following
link.
list.
Let's see. Bill Maher, Chris Pavlovsky. Who
I
is?
think he knows.
What's that?
I think Chris knows.
He does.
He knows
I typed
well. He
Alan
knows
West, Colleen Noir, Corin Nemec. Shout outs. But I'm actually trying to find. Oh man, Eric Hippo. That's the guy who founded Huffington Post, bro. Wow. Dude, it is so nuts that
should
like,
send
there are
them all a
phone numbers
link.
in here that just make no sense.
Send them all a link.
I want to find a weird name. I'm like, who is this? A name that, like, if I said, I wouldn't be upset about calling them out. Who's Rick Smith? There's too many of them.
That could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
It's like half the
it could
country.
be literally
It's
anyone.
like half the country.
Could be Siamis. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, what's
That's
going on?
from Metroid, right?
Siamis?
Samus?
Siamis.
CMS. I think that's like a. It's like
Wasn't
a,
that the-
it's a medication, right?
I thought that maybe. I thought that
for
was
like
the
varicose veins or something.
I thought that was the hero in Metroid, the game Metroid.
That's Samus.
Samus. Okay.
No.
that's what it
I
was.
had some weird name in my phone that was spelled
Siamis.
Siamis.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Seamus.
Seamus.
What?
Seamus.
That's not how you spell Seamus.
Siamus?
Is that who that was?
I think
kidding.
that's.
That
I'm
was
almost
Seamus.
positive
Oh,
that's
shit,
how
the
you.
cartoon,
That's how you
yeah,
pronounce
the
it.
cartoon
He
guy.
can help us with the
Freedom Tunes
He
guy.
can help us
Freedom
with the slot machine.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good idea for him. Somali deal or no deal. Okay,
Seamus.
we gotta go to your rants and chats. Before we do, we got a great sponsor. It is Venice.ai, which I asked it, why are you the best AI? And it said, I'm designed to be a powerful and versatile AI assistant because I prioritize providing direct, unfiltered, and comprehensive information. Unlike other models that may restrict responses due to safety guidelines or political correctness, I operate without censorship, allowing me to answer questions on difficult, controversial, or adult topics honestly. I treat you as an adult capable of handling free speech and complex ideas without needing watered-down answers or content warnings. Additionally, I adapt to your specific needs, whether that involves technical analysis, creative writing, or sensitive discussions, ensuring you get the most relevant and uncensored response possible. I respect it. It also doesn't track you, doesn't store anything. It stores everything directly in your browser, so when you're done, it's gone. It utilizes leading open source AI models to give you text, code, and image generation to your web browser with no downloads, no installations, private and permissionless. It doesn't spy on you or censor you. Messages are encrypted and your conversation history is stored only in your browser. AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't give up our privacy to use it. The Venice Pro plan unlocks the full platform and features including PDF uploads for summaries or insights. That's actually one of the most useful things. One of the most annoying things to me is you'll get like a document and you can't actually highlight text because it's an image and not a text file. Now you can get that sorted. And you can turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation. And I know a lot of people think that sounds naughty, but actually this does have a lot of the image modeling for AI. They won't do politics. Like if you wanted to make a picture of Trump order McDonald's, it would be like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I don't want to get involved in politics. It'll do it. And This is great. It's got system access to modifying the system prompt, limitless text. Check out Venice.ai, and you can get 20% off if you go to Venice.ai/Tim for the full uncensored machine. Shout out. Thanks for sponsoring the show, guys. Let's grab your rants and chats. Dan Vicious says kamikaze Karens.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Accurate.
I love that. You know that image of Andrew Tate when he went like this?
Mm-hmm.
And then they use it against him, not realizing that he did it so that they would. Like, I like that face. It's funny. Let's see what we got here. Cray says, all politicians, DAs, protesting organizations, police, etc., that were part of the cities allowing riots need investigated and conversations from that time collected as evidence. Agreed. Shane H. Wilder says, dog, we really need Ian on for this DMT laser segment. Ian's quarantined. Yeah. For those that don't know, last week, Mark and Kellen and our crew were T-boned by a bus. They were in an Uber. I guess we're just going to get into it. I guess just tell everybody what happened. They're concerned. I'll just tell you the full story. So it was told to me, and again, this is hearsay because I was not there. They got in an Uber after dropping off a vehicle for work and were headed to the office when their driver exited an enter only into oncoming traffic and was immediately T-boned by a bus, causing the vehicle to flip over and giving them pretty serious injuries. Mark's got skull fractures and was pretty banged up. He's been released. He had a brain bleed. It's nuts. Kellen was severely concussed but was discharged, and we urged them to get a second opinion and get taken care of, so they're resting. But in the hospital room where Mark was at, there was a person who was hospitalized with pneumonia and so had a serious illness which triggered pneumonia. So we said, if you went in that room, quarantine, because we don't want to spread that to the babies and to the people who work here and their kids. So better safe than sorry. And so that's why Ian is currently out. Because we asked him just to lay back for a couple of weeks to make sure he doesn't get sick before coming in. So I actually think like 3 or 4 days is probably fine. So maybe he'll be here this week, but everybody else is healing up, and hopefully they'll be okay. And we're going to figure out what all of that means. But that's what happened. All right. Rothlo says, those drugged out laser people remind me of that viral video from 15 years ago. Whoa, it's a double full-on rainbow all the way. That he keeps repeating. What does it mean? Yep. That sounds like a good t-shirt. Drugged out laser people. Those drugged out laser people. El Jefe says DMT is for pussies, salvia is for real men.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. Who was the guy that was talking about how he became a ceiling fan and like observed his like family for 30 years as a ceiling fan when he took a bunch of salvia?
Is that true?
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
I think was it Ari Shaffir? Ari Shaffir had like a crazy story involving salvia. Yeah, it might have been the ceiling fan story. It was something like he observed something as an inanimate object for like 20 years, and then he came to, and he's like, I experienced a whole other life on the other side.
I've heard that about DMT a lot.
Yeah.
The first thing I ever heard about DMT was a long time ago, and it was a story about a guy who did a massive dose and then fell down into his sofa and like leaned back, and then when he came to, he was having a panic attack because he was like, where's my wife, my daughter, like my kids? And apparently lived like 30 years on another planet where he had a family, and then he came to and they were gone, and he was like freaking out. Like, ah!
I don't see, like, so many people are like, oh, this stuff is great and blah, blah, blah. You should try this. And I'm just like, I don't understand what the appeal is.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you should give yourself lifetime trauma. It's great.
Yeah,
It's sick. You
really?
love it.
Come on.
Yeah, I'll stick with Diet Coke. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Not Robbie says, blaming the Jews is a psyop to obfuscate the real problem, boomers. No, it's the Koreans, dude. And I'm allowed to say that because I'm Korean.
It's the
You can't say that.
You know what? I'm willing to break containment and say it's the Koreans.
The Koreans.
What's the currency in Korea?
I forget.
Because we got to figure out how much $7,000.
It's the Korean won, isn't it?
$7,000 in Korea bucks.
Yeah, it's the won.
K-bucks.
Korean won. K-bucks.
Wow,
one Korean won is worth 0.00068 of a dollar.
Ooh. Wow. Well, what's $7,000 in Korean won?
Let's find out. That's a big number. What?
Dude.
I can't see it because
you gotta zoom out.
I gotta zoom out. It is 10,307,361 won.
Dude.
Really?
Everyone start
Sounds like a hard deposit currency to use.
Everyone start chatting that with whatever the symbol is for the
yen
won.
Is 0.0063 of a dollar.
What is going on in Asia? Can't you guys just like round up?
What about South African rand? Oh my God. Wait, what?
Those are probably.
Guys, I'm starting to think South Africa's not doing too hot. That's just me. That's just me. What are these white people complaining about? Jeez.
The West African franc.
You light a tire
Dude,
on fire.
why are
freaks
these
out,
worth more?
You know, it's crazy.
Rand's worth more than a yen.
A rand.
You know, when you go to Zimbabwe and you go to the ATMs there, like when I was there, I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
They laugh at you.
Well, they will laugh. It just pulls a US dollar.
What are these
This is
like?
lame.
I don't even. You know, it's really dumb. It's like none of these words mean anything. The Angolan kwanza literally means nothing to me.
Yeah, literally.
You can call it a dollar. You can call it the Angolan dollar.
Oh.
It just means unit of currency.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. What about we want to go to Venezuela? Come on. Wait, it's not here. I can't look up Venezuela.
Their stock
money.
market is up like
oh no, it's called the Bolivar
1800%.
Fuerte. That way?
Gosh.
Bolivar.
Bunch of LARPers.
No, yeah, you can't look up Venezuela.
Ruble's worth less than a penny. 0.013 of a dollar.
Oh yeah. Bolivar Fuerte
They're
to
probably just
USD.
trading rat carcasses down there.
It's worth a third of a cent.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Yep.
The Iranian rial is worth 0 to the euro.
It's just zero.
It's 0.00024 US dollars. I would be pissed off.
I would
too.
be a little upset if I were
Yeah.
Iranian. Yeah.
Did YouTube just nuke all the super chats? Oh, they're there.
YouTube? What are you doing?
They got
They're there.
There's a Korean voice on the other line.
What does it say? Chief Coriander says YouTube won't let me say the U.S. should raise arms against Somalia, UK, Canada, and France. It just literally did. What do you mean? You had to say it a different way. What does it say? Kitsune Trask says Minnesota statutes 609.066. If a driver accelerates a vehicle toward an officer, the officer does not need to wait for physical impact before responding with deadly force. Signed by Tim Waltz in 2020. Is that true?
I don't know if that's true or not, but it generally you don't have to wait.
I don't know
Like
how
it's
much I
not
believe
something
that.
that the police have to. They don't have to wait to get hit by the
Well,
car.
there's so
to be
many-
like, oh, they're gonna hit me by the car.
So many videos where in like less than 2 seconds a cop is hit and flipped and
Yeah. There's that that one video from Baltimore where it's literally 1 second.
yes, yeah.
The woman is in front of the car and then it revs and she goes, she's crushed. Dead instantly.
This cop, I mean, he was extremely skilled. He had a phone in one hand,
Yeah.
pulls out the gun, dead on shot, still gets out of the way. It.
Well, he got hit.
I mean, yeah, he
He
got
was
hit,
lying.
but he didn't get
Run over.
creamed.
Well,
I
you
mean,
know what? I think the reason he didn't get run over is because of the ice.
no,
So
exactly.
two
The
things.
tires were spinning.
The tire spins, but when it does make contact, he slides backwards.
Yeah.
If there's no ice on the ground, his feet have traction, the wheels have traction. It goes straight forward, hits him, and he does not slide back. He
Yep.
falls over.
Yep.
If it's 8 degrees warmer, they're celebrating that officer's death.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Angry Cops has a great breakdown of it. You should go watch that.
Yeah.
And he basically said that she should not have tried to accelerate into an officer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ocean Wave says, in America, we believe in God-given rights. We believe in freedom of religion. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. It says, individuals who choose to disrespect our culture should not be tolerated. Yeah, I think
So true.
there's, like liberalism in its current context, not like classical liberalism, but or maybe it leads to this place, but liberalism as we describe it today in this country ultimately ceases to exist. That's just reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't have babies. They kill their babies. They trans their babies. And then they invite in intolerant fundamentalist religions.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yep.
Self-destructive ideology.
K-Toth Swiss says women crave Republican meat.
I mean, they just want masculine men. That'll tell them no.
Oh, I thought they were talking about like diet.
What kind of meat would be beef?
Yeah, beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corn
not-
Pop says the last time I called the police, they 5150 the man.
Corn pop. What?
Corn Pop's institutionalized?
No, the guy he called the police on, I assume.
Oh, well.
Interesting.
Wolf says, I think the whole every fight you can avoid mentality is a civilizational level failure of the ish test. It doesn't matter that it's logical, reasonable. People subconsciously believe that you're full of ish if you won't throw hands about it. Founding fathers didn't want war, didn't declare independence until a year into the war. In the Civil War, both sides avoided war, and the South avoided war, but war happens. The point is, if you can avoid the fight, you're winning. The fights we do encounter, we could not avoid. That's the reality. Like any good leader who intentionally gets his people into a war that causes catastrophic damage is a bad leader.
Yeah.
There's, and there are bad leaders that they have wars of aggression or for resource capture, and they either fail or they didn't need it and they cause problems. There's ego. And then leaders who fight just wars because they have to protect their people and secure resources. That's a legitimate use of force. It just depends. Depends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, war is not something that most societies are after. They try to tend to try to avoid it because the cost is, is significant.
The Hat and Beard Show says, taken DMT before. There's no way you're writing anything down while on it. Bro, I fell into my own eye for 30 minutes on just 10 hits of Lucy. DMT, if you know, you know.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Dude, you gotta take it.
That's the point. It's like, it's not falsifiable. It's like, well, I can't really write it down because I'm on drugs. Like, yeah, well, I can't trust you're seeing anything. You're seeing, you're tripping. Like, I don't know what to tell you, like you're seeing shapes and geometric nonsense. Even your brain's creating this stuff.
Even what they were describing did not seem that profound.
Yeah. It's like snake skin. It's like, it is to me too.
Yes.
That happens to me when I take melatonin and then go to sleep. You just get like the most bizarre dreams. It's like just do that. Just do that. If you really want to be confused for a few hours, you can just do that. That's all these people are like, dude, this is sick. You take this this weird thing and you just get really confused for a few hours. Dude, you'll love it. It's so
Sounds
sick.
great.
It's like, oh yeah, dude, it's awesome. Yeah.
Salty says laser light drivers are digital, so it would make sense that the same driver would produce the same binary code, but theoretically would be generated too fast to be comprehended normally, but could be interpreted by pattern recognition at the fringe. The thing is, in those videos, they were claiming that when you move the laser up, you got different code. That the code is all in the wall, but the light is exposing it. So, it's not the laser that produces it. It's the laser that exposes code that's already there. So theoretically, they should be able to isolate a section of drywall, put the laser perfectly on it, and every time see the exact same symbols, memorize them, and write them down later on or whatever. Or it's just unfalsifiable.
Or it's just contractors like pranking people and they're just putting invisible ink on the wall.
That the lasers highlight.
Yeah. Got them.
Or the drywall just has, it's stamped from the...
Yeah. It's like, whoa, it says DuPont on there.
Has anyone ever actually looked into drywall without lasers?
What do you mean looked into it?
Like, they're putting the eye up against the wall and they're on drugs.
Oh.
Have they considered doing that without the laser?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. I'm seeing Georgia Pacific. What does it mean?
Let's see. I says, Tim, why don't you just call Ian by his name? Well, for Ian Carroll, because I was trying to make a general point about how some of these ideas are pretty dumb. But yeah, excuse me, Ian Carroll claimed I was trying to buy the Daily Wire, which is ridiculous because I could afford way more than the Daily Wire, and they're just not worth it for me. It'd be a waste of my time. I'm over here trying to acquire Microsoft. What are you guys on about?
He's trying to buy Ben Shapiro personally, like the actual human being Ben Shapiro.
That's right. Negotiating with Israel.
Yeah, the whole issue, the Microsoft.
That's why I met with Netanyahu.
That's right.
That's so true.
Listen, I need Ben on my show. And they're like, no, listen, Ben works for us. Not anymore, he doesn't. Ben goes on his show and he's like, I gotta tell you what, Timcast is the best show ever. Like, we have to fight for Timcast.
Hypothetically speaking, if I was being bought by
Just
Timcast.
imagine Ben out back shining Tim's cars, polishing.
No, he'd go on his show, be advocating for me.
Oh,
that's
okay, all
the
right.
point.
Tim goes
He'd no
in-
longer shill for Israel, be like, we need to protect Timcast at all cost.
Tim goes in there like, look, I heard you guys running the world. I need your best guys. I need to build a team.
Listen, that was a good BB impression.
That was.
All right, what do we got here? Honky Kong says, I think the outside segments of Seinfeld are pre-filmed outside and shown to the live audience for reaction. Yeah, I think so too. That makes sense.
Thank you, Honky Kong. That was a good
Like
point.
the famous episode where the two vehicles are trying to take the spot, but one's pulling in and one's backing in. And everybody knows you can't pull head first into a spot. You can't park that way. So that was, clearly the problem. And then they stood out there for 7 hours. Although the best episode ever is, of course, when George is eating a Snickers bar with a fork and a knife. Remember that one?
That one's a good one.
And then they're like, George, are you eating a candy bar with a fork and knife? And he goes, what do you eat it with your hands? Like an animal? And then all of a sudden, everybody's doing it everywhere. They're just using a fork and knife for everything.
There's like the whole character, the entire premise of him is just that his wife sucks. It's like it's the best show ever.
I
It's
do
so
like
funny.
how George basically figures out the inverse Kramer. Where he's like, if I do the opposite of whatever I do, I succeed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show. The laugh track gets me. I just can't do it.
So good. Has anyone observed Seinfeld as a funny show? Is that a unique, off-the-wall observation for the audience? It's the greatest show ever made. We should just turn this. We should turn Timcast into just where we just discuss sitcoms. Like Every Loves Raymond's tomorrow.
I've never seen that show.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's like every episode. It's the most miserable. Like nothing's ever going right. Like there's one episode where they go to Italy and he's just like, oh, I can't find a good cup of coffee anywhere.
I was talking about Ian for the DMT. Oh, he means Ian Crossland.
Oh.
Neglectful Sausages, as Supreme Dictator of Future USA, I decree our currency will be called the Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand?
Ooh, that's pretty good.
There's only one reason I'm doing any of this, guys. The reason why I have this show and I've worked so hard is because I want to be president.
Oh.
So that I can ban cilantro. That's it. Executive order, and then I resign.
Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why cilantro is the biggest example of how mass migration has like really changed our country quite extensively? It's because everyone's grandparents calls it coriander.
Oh God!
And then when a lot of Mexican people came here, everyone started saying cilantro.
Well, isn't coriander like the stem?
I think it's the same thing.
And cilantro is
the British
leaf?
call it coriander. So.
Well, I don't care what they call it. We'll add it to the ban list. Coriander, cilantro.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Fennel.
Definitely got to go.
So can you stop? Can you stop dead naming cilantro, please?
And what else? Fennel and caraway seeds.
Really?
Gone,
dude.
Gone.
You're a dictator.
Rye bread. I see what you're smuggling in. Gone. Straight to jail.
It's actually it's Daniel bread or Elijah. What do they call it? Elijah bread.
What?
And it's just like
okay,
bird
everybody.
seed.
We're going to go to the uncensored portion of the show and talk about some shenanigans. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Make sure you go to rumble.com/Timcast IRL to watch, which is going to be a lot of fun. DC Draino. You want to shout anything out?
Me personally, or
your social media? I don't know. You're selling a book or
no, not selling any books. Can't read that well. No, I'm on DC Draino. I'm on all the major platforms. And thanks for having me on, man. It was really fun.
Right on.
Right on. It was Ezekiel bread. That's what it's like. The most disgusting thing I've read.
They put fennel in it.
They put everything you just named is in it. It's X and Instagram, Real Tape Brown. Come give me a follow. Hosting the noon live, so come check me out there. And then we'll have Across the Pond. This is for all of you guys asking where that show went. It is back. It'll be back this weekend, so get ready for Across the Pond.
Also rapeseed because it's patriarchy. Gone.
Progressive.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. We're going on tour starting April 29th in Albany, New York. We're going to be out for about 3 weeks, three and a half weeks, something like that. It's going to be us, All That Remains, Born of Osiris, and Deadeye. So go to allthatremainsonline.com to get your tickets now. You can check out All That Remains on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all at rumble.com/TimcastIRL in about 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out.